भगवान भविकाय भूयात्। श्री धन्वंतरये नमः। ओम शांति, ओम शांति, ओम शांति।
Hi.
वेलकम वेलकम सर, वेलकम, स्वागतम। आदरणीय देवेंद्र त्रिगुणा जी का स्वागत है।
नमस्कार।
पद्मश्री पद्म विभूषण वैद्यराज श्री त्रिगुणा जी, प्रेसिडेंट ऑल इंडिया आयुर्वेदिक कांग्रेस, ग्रेट डिग्निटरी फ्रॉम इंडिया, आई वेलकम यू सर ऑन दिस प्लेटफॉर्म। वेलकम सर। सो नाउ, नमस्कार नमस्कार सर। टुडे ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ Independent Research Ethics Society and our all resource persons, guides, I would like to welcome you all on our journey of 301 international webinar. I am really overwhelmed with the support, guidance, inspiration, contribution from all dignitaries all over the globe. I welcome Triguna ji, I welcome Bhamra ji, Amarjeet ji Bhamra from UK. I welcome Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji, Agnihotri ji, and all the dignitaries. गोविंद शुक्ला जी, प्रेसिडेंट विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद। आज का दिन ऐसा सौभाग्यशाली है कि हम बसंत पंचमी के दिन मिल रहे हैं। सरस्वती पूजा का आज बंगाल में बहुत बड़ा त्योहार है। हम लोग सरस्वती पूजा मनाते हैं और आज बड़े बड़े सरस्वती पुत्र और आयुर्वेद के महर्षि हमें आशीर्वाद देने के लिए बैठे हैं। ये हमारा सौभाग्य है। आज के हमारे मॉडरेटर सर प्रोफेसर मदन तंगवेलू, जीनोम बायोलॉजिस्ट, डायरेक्टर ऑफ इंटरनेशनल इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी इंस्टीट्यूट फॉर रिसर्च एजुकेशन एंड स्किल, मैं उनका भी स्वागत करता हूं। सुरेश स्वर्णपुरी जी आयरलैंड से जुड़े हुए हैं, हरीश वर्मा जी कनाडा से जुड़े हुए हैं। मतलब पूरे ग्लोब का आशीर्वाद, ये वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की भूमिका आयुष समृद्धि प्लेटफॉर्म पर इतने दिनों से आप साकार कर रहे हैं। मैं आपका शुक्रगुजार हूं, आपको दिल से धन्यवाद देता हूं। इंडिपेंडेंट रिसर्च एथिक्स सोसाइटी, इंडिपेंडेंट एथिक्स कमेटी क्लिनिकल रिसर्च इंडिया की जनक है, जो CDSCO से अप्रूव्ड है और क्लिनिकल रिसर्चेज को वैलिडेट करती है। सोसाइटी हेल्थ केयर अवेयरनेस के प्रोग्राम्स करती है। जब कोरोना काल आया तो यूट्यूब चैनल नया सीख के खोल के और 3 बजे सुबह डिजाइन बना लेता हूँ, 5 बजे सर्कुलेट हो जाता है और 5 बजे सर्कुलेट होने के बाद में आप लोगों से शाम को मुलाकात हो जाती है और मेरा विश्व का भ्रमण हो जाता है। यही ये सब आपका आशीर्वाद है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। आज मैं योगेश चंद्र मिश्रा जी का आह्वान करूंगा। विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद के प्राण पुरुष, मैं आयुर्वेदिक ऑल इंडिया आयुर्वेदिक कांग्रेस का भी लाइफ मेंबर हूं और विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद का भी लाइफ मेंबर हूं। योगेश चंद्र मिश्रा जी की चेतना से, प्रेरणा से और रोज सुबह 5 बजे फोन करने की एक अद्भुत शक्ति से विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद के साथ बहुत अच्छा जुड़ाव हुआ। मैं तो एक आग्रह, ये आज की वेबिनार का उद्देश्य ही ये है, मेरे साथ 3 कर्णधार बैठे हुए हैं जो भारत की आयुर्वेद की एसोसिएशंस को पूरा का पूरा रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। आदरणीय योगेश चंद्र मिश्रा जी, आदरणीय देवेंद्र त्रिगुणा जी और आदरणीय गोविंद साहब शुक्ला जी। तो ये एक बड़ा अद्भुत क्षण है, अलौकिक क्षण है। मैं ऐसे क्षणों को बार बार आप लोगों से दोहराने की विनती करता हूं। आज आप लोगों के आशीर्वचनों में कैसे हम एक हों, क्या हम ऐसा करें कि हम लोग सब मिलके एक हों। ये बिल्कुल ठीक है कि तीनों प्रकृतियां अलग हैं, आदमी अलग हैं, मुंडे मुंडे मतिर भिन्ना, लेकिन फिर भी मैं जो 5 जनरेशन मेरी आयुर्वेद में निकली, ग्रैंडफादर राजवैद्य थे सिंधिया फैमिली के, फादर डायरेक्टर थे आयुर्वेद के मध्य प्रदेश के, मदर सुपरिंटेंडेंट थी और आप लोगों के आशीर्वाद से बेटी भी सेकेंड ईयर में पढ़ रही है श्री श्री आयुर्वेदिक कॉलेज में, तो 6वीं पीढ़ी में वो तैयार हो जाएगी। आयुर्वेद का एक ही उद्देश्य मुझे समझ में आता है कि आज जो कोरोना काल में आयुर्वेद के प्रति नेगेटिविटी फैलाई गई, हम लोगों की रिसर्चेज को भी उन लोगों ने किसी ने भी मानने से इनकार कर दिया गया, लेकिन फिर भी हमारा आयुर्वेद अपनी प्रभाव छोड़ने में सफल रहा। पूरे हर घर तक अब आयुर्वेद के बारे में किसी को नहीं समझाना, ये कोरोना का ब्लेसिंग इन डिस्गाइज था। इतनी नेगेटिविटी में भी हम लोगों ने नेगेट करने के लिए नेगेटिविटी को ये पॉजिटिव ब्रेन स्टॉर्मिंग, नॉलेज शेयरिंग सेशंस की शुरुआत की। और मुझे संतोष है कि आप लोगों का आशीर्वाद पाते पाते आज मैं 301वीं वेबिनार पे हूं, जिसमें हम हर तरह के टॉपिक, हर दिन का टॉपिक, आज यूनिटी डे इंडिया का नहीं है, आज यूनिटी डे कोई बुरुंडी देश का है, लेकिन चूंकि सेलिब्रेट यूनिटी करनी थी तो हम मौके खोजते हैं कि हम समाज के पास आयुर्वेद को कैसे ले जा सकें, क्योंकि जब तक समाज हमें दिल से नहीं स्वीकार करेगा तब तक शासन का प्रतिबंध या शासन का वरदान दोनों ही उतना काम नहीं आएगा। मैं ज्यादा समय न लेते हुए, हम लोगों के बुजुर्ग दो बैठे हैं, मैं सबसे पहले योगेश मिश्रा जी को आह्वान करता हूं, उनसे आशीर्वचन, और फिर त्रिगुणा जी से, त्रिगुणा जी को भी जाना है आज दूसरी मीटिंग में, उनकी कृपा है। रियली त्रिगुणा जी, मैं आपका बहुत आभारी हूं कि आपने बड़े शॉर्ट नोटिस में आशीर्वाद दिया, और ऐसे देते रहिएगा, ऐसी विनती है मेरी। मैं योगेश मिश्रा जी, आदरणीय योगेश मिश्रा जी।
आदरणीय डॉक्टर पवन जी को स्नेहपूर्ण नमस्कार। आपका जो आग्रह और आपकी जो ललक है आयुर्वेद के लिए विश्व के मंच पर प्रतिष्ठापित करने की, निश्चित रूप से उसका लाभ संपूर्ण आयुर्वेद जगत को शीघ्र ही मिलेगा और दिखाई देगा। हम लोग, ये ठीक है कि विभिन्न प्रकार के अलग अलग संगठनों से जुड़े हुए लोग यहाँ हैं, लेकिन सबके मूल में एक ही भावना है, और वो भावना ये है कि आयुर्वेद के प्रति इस कोरोना काल में जो लोगों का आकर्षण बढ़ा है, ये आकर्षण कैसे श्रद्धा और विश्वास के रूप में परिवर्तित हो, ये एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण बिंदु है। और ये बात सही है। मेरा अपना अभिमत यह है कि आयुर्वेद के कोई 10 लोग, 20 लोग बहुत महान हो जाएंगे, उससे आयुर्वेद की सृष्टि, आयुर्वेद का करना ही बढ़ेगा। आयुर्वेद के प्रत्येक व्यक्ति को, प्रत्येक विद्यार्थी को, प्रत्येक अध्यापक को, प्रत्येक कॉलेज को, प्रत्येक संगठन को अपने को पीछे रखते हुए आयुर्वेद के प्रति लोगों की श्रद्धा और विश्वास बढ़ाने के लिए काम करना पड़ेगा। तो विभिन्न प्रकार के लोग इस काम में जुड़े हैं, भविष्य में भी जुड़ेंगे इस विश्वास के साथ। और आज जैसा कि अभी बताया कि विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद का कोई पक्ष रखने की चर्चा होगी, तो हमारे गोविंद जी और डॉक्टर के द्विवेदी, ये सब लोग इस सभा में उपस्थित हैं। वो लोग परिषद का दृष्टिकोण आवश्यक होने पे रखेंगे। ये मेरी शुभकामना भी है और इच्छा भी है कि सभी लोग आयुर्वेद के लिए तत्पर हो करके, और वन लाइफ वन मिशन, तो जैसे अपने हम लोगों के सामने कई लोग हैं ऐसे, आदरणीय माननीय त्रिगुणा जी हैं, डॉक्टर पवन जी हैं, उनके जीवन का तो एक मिशन है आयुर्वेद। तो ऐसे आयुर्वेद को मिशन के रूप में स्वीकार करने वाले जितने लोग अधिक मात्रा में बढ़ेंगे, उतना ही आयुर्वेद का प्रसार, आयुर्वेद का प्रचार, आयुर्वेद के प्रति श्रद्धा और आयुर्वेद की ध्वजा को विश्व में लहराने का हमारा जो मंतव्य है वो पूरा होगा। इस संक्षिप्त अपने विचारों के साथ मैं एक बार पुनः आप सबको प्रणाम करता हुआ बात समाप्त करूंगा। जय आयुर्वेद, जय आयुर्वेद। धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, आपके आशीर्वचनों के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अब मैं आदरणीय पद्मश्री पद्म विभूषण वैद्यराज श्री देवेंद्र त्रिगुणा जी से आह्वान करता हूं। वो ऑल इंडिया आयुर्वेदिक कांग्रेस के प्रेसिडेंट भी हैं, प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ एसोसिएशन ऑफ मैन्युफैक्चरर्स ऑफ आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन, मेंबर गवर्निंग बॉडी ऑफ ऑल इंडिया आयुर्वेदिक इंस्टीट्यूट, प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ गवर्निंग बॉडी ऑफ राष्ट्रीय आयुर्वेद विद्यापीठ, ही इज फॉर्मर विजिटर गुरुकुल कांगड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी हरिद्वार, एक्स मेंबर CCRAS, एक्स मेंबर। मैं कितना बोलूं, मैं कुछ जितना भी बोलूंगा सूर्य को दिया दिखाने के जैसा है। मेरी धृष्टता के लिए क्षमा करें, मैं सूर्य को दिया दिखाने की धृष्टता नहीं कर सकता। आप महान विभूति है, हमें आशीर्वचन देंगे, कृपा होगी सर। प्रणाम
जी। मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
बिल्कुल सर।
ठीक है। नमस्कार। श्रद्धेय प्रोफेसर योगेश चंद्रा जी, डॉक्टर AS भामरा जी यूनाइटेड किंगडम से, मेरी उनसे पहले भी कई दफा कई मीटिंग्स में मुलाकात हुई है। डॉक्टर गोविंद शुक्ला जी जोधपुर से, डॉक्टर PG नारायण जी चेन्नई से, डॉक्टर मदन थंगवेलु जी यूनाइटेड किंगडम से, डॉक्टर के द्विवेदी जी, पवन शर्मा जी और सब विद्वान लोग जो अब आज इस मीटिंग में जुड़े हैं। पहले तो मैं ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को धन्यवाद दूंगा कि उन्होंने इस शॉर्ट मीटिंग में एक अच्छा ये प्लान किया है और जो विषय रखा है यूनिटी इज एसेंशियल। यूनिटी ना कि आयुर्वेद में, पूरे विश्व में किसी भी चीज के लिए यूनिटी बहुत जरूरी होती है। तो एक अच्छा वो है और अच्छा प्रयास है और ध्येय सबका एक ही है कि आयुर्वेद को पूरे विश्व में स्थापित करना है। जिस प्रकार योग को मान्यता मिली है मोदी जी के प्रयासों से UN में, इसी प्रकार हम प्रयास करके आयुर्वेद को UN में, WHO में इसको मान्यता मिले, जो इसको, ताकि पूरे विश्व को हम एक अच्छा स्वास्थ्य दे पाए। यही हमारा सबका ध्येय है और इसी मिशन को लेके हम पिछले तकरीबन कोई 40 साल से पूरे विश्व में काम कर रहे हैं। और मैं आपको, आपकी संस्था को बहुत धन्यवाद दूंगा। आयुर्वेद जो है वो इज ओरिजिनेटेड ऑन द लैंड ऑफ वेदास। ये भारत की लैंड से, भारत की जमीन से आयुर्वेद का उदय हुआ और ये योग और आयुर्वेद ये भारत से ही यहाँ से गए और पूरे विश्व में इसको मान्यता मिली। लेकिन आज योग को तो मान्यता मिल रही है, लेकिन अभी आयुर्वेद को जो स्थान विश्व में मिलना चाहिए वो अभी नहीं मिल पाया। और हमारा तो स्लोगन ही एक है कि वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, होल वर्ल्ड इज वन फैमिली। और हम चाहते हैं कि आयुर्वेद के माध्यम से एक पूरी दुनिया को एक डिजीज फ्री सोसाइटी दें, एक पूरा सारे विश्व को हम एक अच्छा स्वास्थ्य दे पाए, भारत में भी और पूरे विश्व में भी। और आयुर्वेद इसको क्षमता है इसमें। आयुर्वेद के माध्यम से हमारे ऋषि मुनियों ने जो हमको ज्ञान दिया है उससे हम इसको संभव कर पाए। और सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी का विजन बहुत अच्छा है। आज इस कोविड टाइम ने देखा, उससे पहले देखा, जबकि हमारा विभाग बना, फिर हमारा मंत्रालय बना, और उनकी सोच देखिए कि उन्होंने हमारे विभाग को, he has made a secretary to the government of India, Ved Rajesh Kotecha ji, as the secretary, the Minister of Ayush, which was always the IAS post. और last 4.5 years, almost 5 years, he is now the secretary to the government of India, or Minister of Ayush. और वो खुद में बहुत अच्छे वैद्य हैं, कोटेचा जी बहुत अच्छे चिकित्सक हैं, बहुत अच्छे वो जामनगर यूनिवर्सिटी के वाइस चांसलर रहे और एक अच्छा लीड कर रहे हैं, जिसका कि परिणाम अभी 4.5 साल में बहुत अच्छा मिल रहा है। और इससे हमको, हमारे विभाग को, उस विभाग के माध्यम से हम पूरे दुनिया में जगह जगह यूनिवर्सिटीज हम खोल पाएंगे, ऐसा मेरा अपना मानना है। ये जो मूवमेंट शुरू हुआ आयुर्वेद को पूरे विश्व में ले जाने का, जब मैं पीछे जाता हूँ हिस्ट्री में देखने के लिए, लेट 70s, 77, 78, 79, पूज्य श्रद्धेय महर्षि महेश योगी जी, जिनके की आशीर्वाद से पिताजी के नेतृत्व में आयुर्वेद को और शंकराचार्य जी के सानिध्य में बैठकर एक प्रण लिया था कि हम आयुर्वेद को योग के साथ पूरे विश्व में लेकर जाएंगे। और उसी का परिणाम था कि सैकड़ों वैद्यों को पूरे विश्व में, अमेरिका में, यूरोप में लेके गए और वहां योग के साथ साथ आयुर्वेद का उसका पूरा प्रचार किया गया। पंचकर्म के सेंटर्स खोले गए। मुझे याद है जो जामनगर के अपना अहमदाबाद के जो थे हमारे पंचकर्म के स्पेशलिस्ट, उनको सालों साल वहां रखा और उन्होंने आयुर्वेद के सैकड़ों डॉक्टर्स को पंचकर्म की शिक्षा दी। वहाँ के डॉक्टर्स, आज हजारों डॉक्टर्स अमेरिका में, यूरोप में, बाकी कंट्रीज में आयुर्वेद के माध्यम से चिकित्सा भी कर रहे हैं, उसका प्रचार भी कर रहे हैं। और डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा भी इसी की एक कड़ी है कि दीपक चोपड़ा जी किस प्रकार महर्षि जी की संस्था के साथ आए, पिताजी के साथ जुड़े और आज दीपक चोपड़ा जी ने पूरे विश्व में आयुर्वेद को कैसा प्रचार किया और एक बहुत बड़े एम्बेसडर हैं वो आयुर्वेद के लिए, मेरा ये अपना मानना है। लेकिन मैं यहाँ ये भी कहना चाहूंगा कि हमारा जो कोर्सेज पूरी दुनिया में आयुर्वेद के पढ़ाए जा रहे हैं, वो कोर्सेज जो है वो एक ऑथेंटिक कोर्स होने चाहिए। आज डिफरेंट बहुत सारे सैकड़ों लोगों ने अमेरिका में, यूरोप में, कनाडा में, सब जगह अपने अपने कोर्स खोल लिए आयुर्वेद के नाम से। उससे कुछ आयुर्वेद का नाम भी बदनाम होता है। तो हम चाहते हैं कि जो कोर्सेज जो बाहर अमेरिका, यूरोप में पढ़ाए जाएं वो एक्रेडिटेड हो भारत सरकार से। तो उसके लिए नेशनल अकेडमी ऑफ आयुर्वेद भारत सरकार की, जिसका मैं प्रेसिडेंट भी हूं, उन्होंने एक कोर्स बनाया है। उस कोर्स को वो सब लोग अगर वो एक्रेडिट करेंगे, वो पढ़ाएंगे तो भारत सरकार से उस कोर्स को मान्यता मिलेगी। उसके अलावा जो पढ़ाना चाहे पढ़ाएं, लेकिन वो मिनिमम जो आयुर्वेद का कोर्स है वो एक ऑथेंटिक कोर्स होगा पूरे विश्व के लिए। जितने भी घंटे का है उस कोर्स को लें आप, उसको ऑथेंटिसिटी कराएं भारत सरकार से, ताकि एक ऐसा कोर्स पूरी दुनिया में पढ़ाया जाए जिससे कि एक आयुर्वेद के रियल आयुर्वेद में उससे लोगों को अच्छी नॉलेज मिल पाए। मेरा ये मानना है कि जितने भी डॉक्टर्स हों, आयुर्वेद के डॉक्टर्स जो भी हैं, उनको मॉडर्न सिस्टम का पूरा ज्ञान हो, जो भी साइंसेज हैं, लेकिन जब वो चिकित्सा करें तो शुद्ध आयुर्वेद की चिकित्सा से करें, ताकि हमारा आयुर्वेद चिकित्सा जो है पूरे विश्व में आयुर्वेद के माध्यम से हम अच्छा लोगों का चिकित्सा कर पाए। मैं एक यहाँ ये भी कहना चाहूंगा कि हमको भारत सरकार से ये कहना चाहिए, अगर हम जब आयुर्वेद की हम उसको बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, तो जितने भी ऐसे कंट्रीज जिनकी, जैसे मॉरिशस है, बहुत सारे ऐसे देश है जहां आयुर्वेद को मान्यता है, और जिन देशों में मान्यता नहीं है, उन देशों में हमको भारत सरकार आयुर्वेदिक कॉलेजेस खोलने के लिए उनको हेल्प भी करे, उनको गाइड करे, उनको टेक्निकल सपोर्ट दे। उससे फायदा ये होगा कि हमारे डिफरेंट आयुर्वेद कॉलेजेस खोल पाएंगे और हम पूरे विश्व में आयुर्वेद को ले जा पाएंगे। इसी प्रकार जब हम मेडिकल टूरिज्म की बात करते हैं, तो हमारा जो मेडिकल टूरिज्म हो वो उसमें मैं वहाँ आयुर्वेद मेडिकल टूरिज्म की बात करता हूँ। तो जो दुनिया के लोग जो भारत में आना चाहते हैं ऑथेंटिक आयुर्वेद की चिकित्सा लेने के लिए, वो भारत में यहाँ आए और भारत में आके अच्छी जगह उनको आयुर्वेद की मेडिकल चिकित्सा मिले, चाहे वो पंचकर्म की बात हो, चाहे क्रॉनिक बीमारियों की बात हो। इसी कड़ी में हमने ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ आयुर्वेद की स्थापना करवाई है, तब प्रधानमंत्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी से कहकर, और एक बहुत अच्छा संस्थान दिल्ली में बना। उसमें अब बहुत दुनिया के लोग वहाँ आ रहे हैं अच्छी चिकित्सा के लिए। तो इसलिए इसका प्रचार होना चाहिए और ऐसे संस्थान हिंदुस्तान में और बनने चाहिए, ना कि हिंदुस्तान में, विदेशों में। और मैं यहाँ पर ये भी इस माध्यम से कहना चाहूंगा कि पूरी दुनिया के अंदर आयुर्वेद की सब जगह मैंने देखा। यूरोप में मैं अभी नवीन गुप्ता जी को देख रहा था कि वो अभी उनके नजर आए थे, वो भी अच्छा आयुर्वेद का प्रचार कर रहे हैं, हॉलैंड वगैरह में सब जगह हैं। तो इस प्रकार बहुत सारे आज हमारे सैकड़ों एम्बेसडर्स हैं आयुर्वेद के, जो पूरे की देश में, विदेश में, पूरी दुनिया में आयुर्वेद का प्रचार को लेके जा रहे हैं। लेकिन जो आज आयुर्वेद की जो चिकित्सा वहां हो रही है, वो एक, उसको क्या कहते हैं आप, फूड सप्लीमेंट्स के नाम पे। तो फूड सप्लीमेंट्स के नाम से फिर आयुर्वेद में है, उसमें आधी अधूरी चिकित्सा होती है। तो हम भारत सरकार के आयुष विभाग के माध्यम से प्रयास कर रहे हैं, और जो बाहर लोग रहते हैं उनको भी प्रयास करना चाहिए, अपनी सरकारों पर दबाव डालना चाहिए, WHO इसको रिकॉग्नाइज करे, ताकि जो चिकित्सा आपको विदेशों में मिले आयुर्वेद की, भारत से ऑथेंटिक दवाइयां जाएं, हमारी फार्मेसी अच्छी किस्म की दवाइयां बनाएं, ये दवाइयां बाहर भी बने और वहाँ के लोगों को शुद्ध आयुर्वेद की चिकित्सा मिले, चाहे वो हर्ब्स की दवाइयां हो, चाहे मिनरल्स हो, चाहे मेटल्स हो, और वो अच्छी किस्म की दवाइयां हो जिसके साइड इफेक्ट ना हो। तो तभी हम आयुर्वेद से लोगों को एक अच्छा स्वास्थ्य दे पाएंगे, ऐसा मेरा अपना मानना है। मैं पुनः जो हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजर्स हैं, डॉक्टर पवन जी को विशेष करके धन्यवाद दूंगा, और जितने सब लोग इसमें जुड़े हैं उन सबको भी मैं नमन करता हूं कि हम सबका ध्येय ये है। मेरा तो मिशन ही, जिस दिन से मैंने कॉलेज से पास किया 1974 से, पिताजी के आशीर्वाद से, एक और पूरे देश में, पूरे विश्व में आयुर्वेद को लेके गए, और उसी का परिणाम है आज कि आज चाहे इंडिया हो, पूरे विश्व में आयुर्वेद का लोगों का नाम भी बढ़ा। अमेरिका की शायद ही कोई यूनिवर्सिटी रही जब हम आयुर्वेद के प्रचार के लिए नहीं गए, और हिंदुस्तान के अंदर भी आज ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ आयुर्वेद की स्थापना है, हमारा डिपार्टमेंट है, मिनिस्ट्री है, मेडिसिन प्लांट बोर्ड बना है। तो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो कि, चाहे वो, मैं यहाँ याद करना चाहूंगा पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरसिम्हा राव जी को, जिन्होंने विभाग बनाया, उसके बाद में अटल जी को, जिन्होंने कि आयुर्वेद का बहुत, हमारा प्रधानमंत्री के नाते भी, लीडर अपोजिशन के नाते भी डॉक्टर मुरली मनोहर जोशी जी, इन्होंने किया। और आज जो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी हैं, उनका जो विजन है, उनके विजन की वजह से ही आज इस कोविड टाइम में, अगर भारत के अंदर आज कोविड कम फैला है या लोगों की हमारी इम्यूनिटी बनी है, तो उसमें आयुष का विशेष है। चाहे वो आयुष काढ़े की बात हो, चाहे हमारे रसायन की बात हो, चाहे वो ब्रह्म रसायन है या हमारी गिलोय है, संशमनी वटी है, ना कि देश के अंदर, पूरे विश्व में। तो हमारा जो आयुर्वेद के विद्वानों ने, हमारे आयुर्वेद के चिकित्सकों ने देश में, विश्व में लोगों को एक अच्छा स्वास्थ्य देने के लिए, चाहे वो रसायन पद्धति हो, चाहे वो हमारी आयुष 64 है, जिसको कि अब मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ ने भी अपने प्रोटोकॉल में लिया है। पूरे देश के अंदर आयुष 64 को दिया जा रहा है कोविड के लिए, इसके लिए। तो एक ये बहुत बड़ा हमारी उपलब्धि है। मैं इन शब्दों के साथ पुनः इस प्लेटफॉर्म का धन्यवाद करूंगा कि मैं आपके साथ जुड़ा और हम इसमें सफल हों। आयुर्वेद के माध्यम से अच्छा स्वास्थ्य देने के लिए मैं पुनः नमस्कार करता हूं। जय आयुर्वेद।
बहुत बहुत आभार सर, बहुत बहुत आभार। आपकी ये प्रेरणादायी बातें हम लोगों का मार्ग निर्देशन करेंगी। और आप हमारे इंस्पिरेशन शुरू से हैं। तो हमने जब से आयुर्वेद किया, 89 में जामनगर से पास करके आया था एमडी, तब से मैं आपको ऑब्जर्व भी कर रहा हूँ, मिल भी रहा हूँ, कई बार मिल भी चुका हूँ। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत आभार। अब दूसरी संस्था विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद, जो बहुत काम कर रही है इतने शिक्षकों के लिए, चिकित्सकों के लिए, हमारे अवेयरनेस के काम, हमारे रिसर्च के भी काम, उसके अध्यक्ष आदरणीय प्रोफेसर गोविंद साहब शुक्ला जी को आमंत्रित करता हूं। वो प्रिंसिपल हैं आयुर्वेदिक कॉलेज के, सर्वपल्ली राधाकृष्णन राजस्थान आयुर्वेद यूनिवर्सिटी में। मैं उनका आभार मानता हूं। और जैसा मैंने कहा, हम लोग सब साथ आ जाएं तो ये कहीं भी कोई अलगाव की बात नहीं रहेगी। और ऐसा ही जोर त्रिगुणा जी ने दिया, आदरणीय मिश्रा जी ने भी दिया। मैं गोविंद साहब शुक्ला जी से विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद की कुछ गतिविधियां और आप कैसे एक होने के लिए हमें प्रेरणा देंगे, आदरणीय गोविंद साहब शुक्ला जी।
उद्भाषी भारतम आयुर्वेदात्मकम ज्योति शाश्वत प्रकाशता। परम श्रद्धे पद्मश्री पद्म भूषण वैद्य देवेंद्र जी त्रिगुणा जी, परिषद के प्राण पवन जी ने कहा, ऐसे इसके संस्थापक सदस्य माननीय योगेश चंद्र मिश्र जी, अन्य पदाधिकारी, देश के और देश के बाहर आयुर्वेद की साधना करते हुए जो सेवा का कार्य कर रहे हैं, ऐसे सभी विद्वज्जन महानुभाव, और किसी भी दिवस को, किसी भी अवसर को कैसे आयुर्वेद के लिए प्रासंगिक बनाया जाए, ऐसे 301वीं आज जो वेबिनार कर रहे हैं, इसके पवन जी ने प्रारंभ में कहा कि ये कार्यक्रम कैसा है। संभुतम अमृतम अश्नुते, जब एक आवाज होती है तो उससे अमृतत्व की प्राप्ति होती है। निश्चित रूप से विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद में मैं व्यक्तिगत रूप से एक ऐसी जो महान विभूति हैं, देवेंद्र जी हैं, अन्य जो विद्वान हैं, उन्हीं को आदर्श मानते हुए आयुर्वेद का कैसे ही समुन्नयन हो, उस दिशा से हम कार्य कर रहे हैं। योगेश जी ने बताया, देवेंद्र जी ने कहा कि हम सब अलग अलग संगठनों के माध्यम से कार्य करते हुए भी हमारा ध्येय एक है कि इस देश की जो वैज्ञानिक परंपरा है, जो सतैव जीवन देने वाली है, जो निरापद चिकित्सा है, उस चिकित्सा के प्रति समाज के अंदर, जनमानस के अंदर विश्वास को पैदा करना। अब उस विश्वास को पैदा करने के लिए इस प्रकार से हमें कार्य करना है। परिषद पिछले विगत 1997 से हर क्षेत्र को क्रमशः चुनकर के कार्य कर रही है। विद्यार्थियों के अंदर कैसे आयुर्वेद के प्रति आत्मविश्वास जागृत हो, कैसे देश के मूर्धन्य चिकित्सक हैं उनको उनका आदर्श के रूप में स्थापित करें। जब देवेंद्र त्रिगुणा जी विश्वविद्यालय में पधारे थे तो टीचर्स के साथ में एक मीटिंग मैंने उनकी रखी थी, लेकिन उस मीटिंग के तत्काल बाद देवेंद्र जी ने कहा कि मैं विद्यार्थियों से मिलना चाहता हूँ और विद्यार्थियों से ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि आप में से कितने लोग रिसर्चर बनने वाले हैं, कितने टीचर बनने वाले हैं, लेकिन कितने लोग अच्छे चिकित्सक बनने वाले हैं। आप इस विधा में आए हैं, निश्चित रूप से कहीं न कहीं आपका सौभाग्य है कि आप आयुर्वेद की विधा में आए हैं। तो इस प्रकार की जो रोल मॉडल हैं, उनको हम विद्यार्थियों के अंदर मिला करके उनके अंदर आत्मविश्वास की जागृति करना, शिक्षकों के माध्यम से कैसे न तो कामे न राज्यम न स्वर्गम में पुनर्भवम, जैसे भी योगेश जी ने कहा कि हम आयुर्वेद के लिए आगे बढ़कर काम करें। मेरा ध्येय, परिषद का ध्येय व्यक्तिगत रूप में इस प्रकार की हम अपने समय में अधिक से अधिक समय देकर के जिस प्रकार संगठनों के माध्यम से आयुर्वेद के लिए समुन्नयन के लिए विद्यार्थियों में कार्य करें, शिक्षकों में कार्य करें, इनके साथ साथ बहुत सी इस देश की का विषय है। हम जितने भी ग्रंथागारों को देखते हैं, चाहे राजा महाराजाओं के किले हैं, चाहे मंदिर हैं, हर क्षेत्र में आयुर्वेद था। उस आर्ष परंपरा का आयुर्वेद, लोक अनुसंधान पर आयुर्वेद जो उन ग्रंथागारों में दबा हुआ है, उसको किस प्रकार से पांडुलिपियों को प्राप्त करके उनको किस प्रकार से हम अपने विद्यार्थियों और शिक्षकों के बीच में रखें। विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद का अनुसंधान प्रकोष्ठ उस नाते कार्य कर रहा है, सेवा प्रकल्प के नाते कार्य कर रहा है, को केंद्रित करके महिला प्रकोष्ठ के नाते कार्य कर रहा है। और किस प्रकार से राजकीय सेवा में, जैसा आदरणीय त्रिगुणा जी ने कहा कि आज जो दिल्ली के अंदर आयुर्वेद का जो संस्थान बना है केंद्र सरकार का, वो दिल्ली के अंदर नहीं, देश के अनेक अनेक कोनों में ऐसे अनुसंधान के केंद्र होने चाहिए, ऐसे शिक्षण प्रशिक्षण के केंद्र होने चाहिए। निश्चित रूप से वहां पर जब उत्कृष्टतम फैकल्टी और अनुसंधान करता कार्य करेंगे, ये निश्चित है कि जो आयुर्वेद ज्ञान है वो हमारी राजस्थान ऐसे जो आर्ष परंपरा से अनुसंधान के रूप में हमारे सामने उपस्थित हुआ है, लेकिन आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में उसको कैसे प्रमाणिकता के साथ में, प्रमाणिक ज्ञान है, लेकिन जो लगभग 12 वर्षों का जो कालखंड रहा जिसमें आयुर्वेद का स्खलन हुआ, उसको जनमानस के अंदर आज 130 करोड़ की हमारी देश की जनता है, आबादी है, जो हम पिछले दशकों को देखते हैं तो कमान निश्चित रूप से जो आयुर्वेद की सिद्धांत है, मौलिकता है, आयुर्वेद सतैव जीवन देने वाला है, उसकी प्रासंगिकता, उसकी स्वीकार्यता बढ़ी है। आने वाले समय में हम सभी संगठनों का मात्र एक ही ध्येय है, इन विभिन्न क्षेत्रों पर करते हुए निश्चित रूप से हम आयुर्वेद की जो प्रतिष्ठा थी उस प्रतिष्ठा को पुनर्स्थापित करके संपूर्ण देश को, विश्व को स्वास्थ्य के संदर्भ में एक अपनी सेवा देना चाहेंगे। और निश्चित रूप से यदि सतैव जीवन की जो मनुष्य की संकल्पना है, जो भारतीय वैदिक संकल्पना पश्चिम जीवम सर्वम सर्वम 100 वर्ष जिए और स्वस्थ होकर के जिए, वो कहीं ना कहीं आयुर्वेद के सिद्धांत, आयुर्वेद की रसायन पद्धति, आयुर्वेद के माध्यम से ही वो निकलती है। हम बहुत अच्छा प्रयास पवन जी ने किया है। पवन जी, मैं कहता हूँ कि अग्निहोत्री जैसे विद्वान इससे अनवरत जुड़े हुए रहते हैं, विष्णु जी अनवरत जुड़े हुए रहते हैं, और अग्निहोत्री जी जैसे विद्वान कहते हैं कि हमने इस कालखंड में इन विनाश के माध्यम से देश भर के देशों से जो आयुर्वेद का कार्य कर रहे हैं, उनको इसके माध्यम से सुनकर हम लोग प्रेरणा ले रहे हैं। और निश्चित रूप से आपके इस प्रकार के कार्यक्रमों के माध्यम से हम प्रेरणा पा करके संगठन के माध्यम से भी आयुर्वेद के समुत्थान के लिए कार्य करते रहेंगे। इस माध्यम जितने भी संगठन हमें उनका सुना है, उनके साथ में उनको मानते हैं, उनकी हमारी सबकी आज देवेंद्र जी ने कहा तो पूरी तरह से सबकी, मैं कहता हूँ कि विश्व परिषद का जो ध्येय है वो उनके मुख से उच्चारित हुआ है। उन्हीं सब लक्ष्य को लेकर के हम कार्य करते रहेंगे। और निश्चित रूप से चाहे वो रिसर्च के हमारी, जैसे पवन जी ने कहा कि उसकी एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं है, तो हम हर क्षेत्र में एक सामूहिक रूप से प्रयास और आयुर्वेद को जो प्रभाव करने का जो कारण रहा, कहीं कहीं जो बिल्कुल मन से तो हमने अपने ग्लोए का प्रयोग किया, और ग्लोए के अनुसंधान को कहते हैं कि नहीं, इसलिए तो ग्लोए नुकसानकारक हो सकती है। तो हमारे अनुसंधानों पर भी जो एक कंस्पिरेसी के माध्यम से जो प्रसन्न चिन्ह उस स्तर से लगाया जाता है, उनको भी हम चुनौती के रूप में सामना करते हुए जो निरापद चिकित्सा पद्धति है, जीवन मूल्य का विज्ञान है, स्वास्थ्य का विज्ञान है, उसको निश्चित रूप से हम एक दिन पुनः स्थापित कर सकेंगे, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। और सभी संगठन संगच्छध्वम संवदत्तम संभो मनांसि जानताम देवा भागम यथा पूर्वेश, हम एक वाणी से, एक मन से बढ़ करके आयुर्वेद के लिए, आयुर्वेद को आगे रख करके लिए, संगठन को और व्यक्ति को पीछे रख करके निश्चित रूप से कार्य करते रहेंगे। आज संपूर्ण देश के अंदर अनुकूलता है, इन सिद्धांतों को सरकारों, समाज ही नहीं, सरकारों के माध्यम से अनुभव किया जा रहा है। आज केंद्र सरकार के माध्यम से शैक्षणिक संस्थानों के विषय में चिंतन, चाहे बजट को लेकर के चिंतन, इस प्रकार सकारात्मक वातावरण देश भर में दिखाई दे रहा है। विदेश से संबंधित जो जुड़ी बातें त्रिगुणा जी ने की, तो निश्चित रूप से सरकारों के माध्यम से इस प्रकार की ऐसी शिक्षण की व्यवस्थाएं हो जो एक्रेडिट हो, और एक मानक के आधार पर आयुर्वेद का संपूर्ण विश्व के अंदर उसको प्रचारित और प्रचारित किया जाए और जनता की सेवा की जाए। मैं समझता हूं कि मेरा इतना कहना पर्याप्त है, और पवन जी को पुनः पुनः बहुत बहुत अपनी ओर से साधुवाद और धन्यवाद व्यक्त करता हूँ। सभी को प्रणाम।
बहुत बहुत आभार, बहुत बहुत आभार गोविंद जी, बहुत बहुत आभार। I would like to welcome Dr. E. Sharma from Mauritius and Stina from Sweden, Fatima ji from Ibadan, Nigeria. So really you have blessed us with all your with both the hands, and I am the recipient of your blessings. Now I would like to hand over the moderation charge to Professor Madan Thangvelu, sir. Professor Madan Thangvelu is genome biologist, was working in Cambridge University and director of International Interdisciplinary Institute for Research, Education and Skill. So I would like to welcome Professor Madan Thangvelu first, and then the stage is yours, sir. I am with you. Welcome, sir.
Pawanji, namaskar, pranam to all our senior teachers, delegates, dignitaries here. First of all, my biggest thanks to Trigunaji, namaskar ji, Trigunaji. For those who are not aware in the audience, Trigunaji has a very important lineage. His father was one of the special people who drove many aspects of Ayurveda together with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi ji. And the stories we have heard about his father, I was very fortunate to meet very briefly Trigunaji's father at the centenary celebration of the All India Ayurveda Congress in New Delhi, 2009. So Trigunaji, thank you so much for your presence today, your short contribution, and also your continuing guidance of how the Ayurved को आगे कैसे ले जाएगी. आपकी तरफ से we expect and accept all your guidance. And thanks to Yogesh Mishra ji, namaskar ji, thank you for your leadership, guidance, and your spirit that remains with us at every one of our meetings. And Govt Shukla ji, namaskar ji, greetings from Cambridge. The आपके जो यूनिवर्सिटी की पहली वाइस चांसलर R.H. Singh ji is very special for all of us, and his spirit and his guidance continues to be with all of us. So although it seems that there is a lot of diversity, there is also a deep unity somewhere. And I think this is what we want to celebrate today, that we respect the diversity, but also bow down to the unity in this diversity. I want to welcome AJIT ji, who is joining us from New Zealand, Ish ji joining us from Mauritius, Stina ji, who is joining from Sweden. Thank you, Stina ji. Shekhar ji joining us from Philadelphia, and so many other people. Naveen ji, Namaskar ji, joining us from, Naveen ji, Pranam ji, Pranam. Naveen ji joining us from London today, and all our senior colleagues here. So with those, Risha ji joining.
We have, sir, from Unani, Dr. Mohsin Delvi ji, founder president of World Unani Foundation, and P. Jayaprakash Narayan ji will join shortly from Siddha. So now today's our bouquet of rose flowers is excellent.
Most and senior, so many people are here with us. We are blessed to have people from around the world today with us. And this is an expression of the unity that is here with us. Before I go on anymore, I want to introduce Amarjeet ji Bhamra. Amarjeet ji Bhamra is joining us today from London. He is our next presenter. Amarjeet ji, Pranam ji. Amarjeet ji is very special to us because his untiring work has given a very special place for Ayurveda and Indian traditional sciences in UK and in the UK Parliament. When Darshan Shankar ji visited us for one of the presentations a few years ago, Darshan Shankar ji, Vice Chancellor of the Transdisciplinary University, Padma Shri Darshan Shankar ji, he was very quick to note that there is only one country in the world that has an all-party parliamentary group working for Indian traditional sciences. Even the Indian Parliament does not have such a presence. And that is because of the untiring work of Amarjeet Bhamra ji. So Amarjeet ji holds all of us together. He looks after not only Ayurveda, but the Indian traditional sciences to include Siddha, Unani, Jyotish, and Vastu Shastra, and aspects of music also. Many things he holds together in the UK Parliament. And of course, now we are under the COVID regulations, but otherwise, he brings us all together into Parliament for meeting most times in the largest committee room in Palace of Westminster, which is committee room number 14. And every one of our gatherings in Parliament, Amarjeet ji has managed to fill the room to only standing space. So Amarjeet ji continues his work. He has held 2 events, not only in, so the events in the UK Parliament is one thing, but he has also hosted 2 events in the European Parliament also to celebrate 2 Ayurveda days, where he brought all the parliamentarians together. So Amarjeet ji, we are delighted you are here with us. You are a model for how we can enable unity despite the diversity of views and visions and wishes. So we welcome you. Thank you for being here with us today. And the floor is yours, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar. A very good morning, very good afternoon from London. Please excuse my ignorance. I am not able to speak in fluent Hindi, so I will have to speak in the best language that I'm used to in English. So I hope everybody can hear me. May I please take this opportunity, first of all, to pay my reverence to Yogesh Mishra ji and the Honorable Dr. Dwivedi Triguna ji and Professor Govind Shukla ji and all my learned friends and esteemed teachers who are sharing the screen here this morning. May I first also thank my very good friend and my very learned friend, Professor Madanji, who's joining us after a few weeks gap, and all the eloquent introduction that he gave about me is it would actually be useless if he was not part of my right hand. I'm sincerely in gratitude to Madanji for his unstinting support at any time of the day and night, since we have come together with the program in the UK Parliament. So what are we doing here in the UK? So as Madanji has already, given you a very brief outline, the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Indian Traditional Sciences came into effect approximately 8-9 years ago. And this was at the behest of the European Union creating a directive to ban all herbal medications in the European Union. And it was through the very kind auspicious help and assistance of the late Lord King, the late Lord Patel, and our current chairman, Dr. Shri Virendra Sharma ji, who's the Member of Parliament for Southall Ealing, and Shri Bob Blackman, who's the Member of Parliament for Harrow, who have actually given us, this direction to conduct our affairs. So what we're basically doing in the Parliament is on approximately every quarter, holding a meeting in the Parliament or through Zoom to educate the parliamentary and the policy-making community on the benefits of all Indian traditional sciences, which Madanji has very, very keenly elaborated: Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani medicine, Siddha medicine, and Jyotish Vidya, and Vastu Vidya, and Gandharv. So the outcome of all these meetings, over the last nearly almost a decade now, is that we have now, for the first time, an agreement with the Government of India and the Ministry of Ayush, where United Kingdom is the first country outside India which will be trialing Ayurveda herbs for the prospect of looking at how to determine validity for Ayurveda, for long COVID patients in the UK. So this structure is being compiled here, with the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Indian Traditional Sciences, who took the lead on this project, and together working with our clinical partners, the London School of Hygiene Tropical Medicine. This trial will proceed over the next 1 year. And we'll be looking at, long COVID symptoms of not just people, or indigenous people, but also ethnic people. And we will be looking at various demographic areas, of the United Kingdom to put this study together. So I think, this is really great. And as Trigunaji mentioned, we have a very, very efficient secretary at Ayush, who has supported this study, and we are very grateful to Secretary Kotecha ji, for making this happen, and obviously all his team of his officers, including the All India Ayurveda Institute. So this is really bringing, Ayurveda to a level where the medical establishment can actually gauge and say in a year's time, yes, well, there is something, relating to medical benefits, in the world of Ayurveda, and how is it that we can, work together with Ayurveda in the future. And secondly, on the question of unity, I think like many countries, we have here, on the screen, possibly including India, and I see my very good friend, Dr. AJIT ji, and I see Shekhar ji, my very good friend Shekhar ji, and Naveen ji, and Suresh ji, and so many, that, in all the different countries, that we are based in, and fortunately or unfortunately, as the case may be, there seem to be, 2 or 3 or 4, Ayurveda societies. And so you will be very pleased to know that, our efforts here, over the last 2-3 years have been to sort of somehow to try and build and amalgamate all the various Ayurveda associations here in the UK so that they can all work on one platform. And so I'm very pleased to let you know, Madanji can actually speak about this more also, because he's also part of that establishment. So we have now created, one platform, one organization, one voice under the umbrella of the British Ayurvedic Medical Council. And so we will all be speaking with one tongue, because you know what, the British have been very good, and I mean, you know, with no qualm, you know, against any particular organization and group of people, but you know, I'm, you know, by my my citizenship, I hold a British citizenship. You know, I've been here for a very long time, but I'm going back to the old days of Raj, where they were very keen to divide and rule us. I mean, the implications of that strategy are still, you know, very much alive. So we have to get outside the box. We have to think outside the box. What is it that we can do? If people like Trigunaji, I'm really happy that he's here today, and I hope he is there and able to hear me. That, you know, he was talking about one curriculum, and I think this is really fantastic. And you know, about 5 years ago, Madanji, you know, the All Party Parliamentary Group on Indian Traditional Sciences, you know, had the opportunity to bring a very strong presence, you know, of 3 senior members of Parliament from UK to the Ministry of Ayush, and the idea was, you know, to say to the government and Ministry of Ayush that we really need, you know, this this unity in curriculum, and we need, you know, one particular curriculum, because there are so many people even from here who go to India. They're learning various types of Ayurveda, and they're, you know, and then they come back and they set up their own little institutes. So I think this is really great, and I would love to, you know, keep a much more deeper connection with the Trigunaji on this, so that the British Ayurvedic Medical Council can actually support you know, a strategy, you know, to enhance this oneness. So that's the situation on the British Ayurvedic Medical Council. And the third thing is that we are now, you know, I mean, India has so much to offer. India has universities, you know, not only for Ayurveda, but all other Indian traditions, scientifically speaking. And so there was a possibility, you know, for the All Party Parliamentary Group on Indian Traditional Sciences, you know, to create a fusion between His Royal Highness Prince Charles and the Prime Minister of India, Modi ji, when he came here to the UK on his state visit back in 2018. And so we organized a meeting, you know, at that level to, you know, to see how we can, you know, work more in a more integrated manner. And as you obviously are all aware that, you know, United Kingdom is no longer part of the EU, the European Union. So India and the UK are now striking a mega deal, a mega trade deal. And so we have been, and Dr. Trigunaji and, you know, some of my other very learned friends, senior friends in India, you know, we all need to be aware that in this treaty, in this deal, you know, that is now, you know, it has restarted again about a fortnight back. So we need Ayurveda and all other Indian traditional sciences to be part of this deal. And we are pressing heavy, you know, through our parliamentary group here, you know, to the policymakers and the negotiating team from the British side, and we're keeping in touch, you know, with the High Commission of India here in London, and also, you know, all our other friends. And, you know, I mean, my humble appeal to all of us here on the screen, and, you know, Dr. Sharma ji and Dr. Trigona ji, and is also to please, you know, through your own links, to speak to the Ministry of Ayush, and in whatever links you have with whatever department, with the government of India, to bring the Ayurveda and yoga and other Indian traditional sciences into this deal. Because once this deal comes together, there is no authority in the world that can tomorrow question the viability of Ayurveda and other Indian traditional sciences in the UK. Because you see right now, there are policing authorities, like you have policing authorities possibly in India and in New Zealand and all the other, and in the EU. So now when we are speaking to these authorities, so they're saying, where is your evidence? So the first question they want to ask is about the evidence. And so this is quite a difficult situation. And so I think, you know, with the promise of this study, you know, hopefully, sorry. So with the study, you know, that is now taking place here, and which will be conducted the way, you know, it has to be like many other scientific studies. So that will give a precursor to the rest of Ayurveda to be understood, you know, because I think, you know, the problem in the West really is that the scientific community don't really understand the science behind the science they want to talk to us about. And it is that spiritual science we have to get across. So that is, you know, that is is what's going on. And finally, if I may just take a couple of more minutes of your time, is that, you know, we have now embarked on task to create a crowdfunding platform to raise some funding to set up a resource center, an Ayurveda Center of Excellence for Indian traditional medicine here in the UK, with the token attachment, you know, to somewhere in the very close to the European Union. So I will be hopefully speaking to Dr. Pawan Sharmaji on this in time to come, and Dr. Trigunaji hopefully, and all our other colleagues, so that, you know, you can also please participate in raising the awareness and humbly donating your generous donations to establish Ayush Pawan here in London. So I'm grateful to Pawanji to very artistically and very consciously, you know, creating, you know, this platform for all of us to come together and talk to each other. And I hope, you know, this platform carries on and bringing all of us together. And any other further assistance, you know, that is required from our side here in the UK, we are always at your disposal. So thank you so much indeed for this opportunity. And by the way, also, today is Basant Panchami. Basant Panchami also marks the holy birth incarnation of Sadhguru Ram Singh. Sadhguru Ram Singh is the pioneer of India's freedom struggle. And he was born today. And so I just wanted to congratulate and celebrate his birth anniversary, who founded the India's freedom movement, you know, back in the day. So thank you so much. And I wish this seminar all the success it deserves. Thank you, Madanji. Thank you, Pawanji.
Amarjeet, thank you so much for your wonderful, kind words. I just want to to connect with what Amarjeet ji has just presented. I just want to highlight a few points. One is chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Indian Traditional Science, Virendra Sharma ji, Member of Parliament for Southall and Ealing. He has been a very important force for us. I also want to recognize the work of Bob Blackman, who's Member of Parliament for Harrow East. And Bob G is very important for us because he is connected into the deepest aspects of British politics. He is one of the executive secretaries for the 1922 committee. The 1922 committee is the committee of the backbenchers of the Tory party. And those of you who are following the ongoing politics here in the UK, it's the 1922 committee that, when they receive 54 letters from members of parliament, they are the ones who trigger a leadership challenge in the parliament. So Bob Blackman-ji is very important for us. And for his work, for promoting all this, he was given a Padma Shri also. So we have Padma Shri Bob Blackman-ji. I also, Amarjeet-ji very briefly touched on work going on between Prince Charles, His Excellency, and Prime Minister Modi ji, and they brought all this together during the Leadership Commonwealth Leaders Summit in 2018, when they inaugurated the Ayurveda Center of Excellence. And the work from that, this is the only Ayurveda Center of Excellence outside India, anywhere in the world, that is here in London. And together with the work with the London Tropical School for Health and Hygiene, we now have an ongoing trial for use of ashwagandha in long COVID, and about 2,000 patients are being studied there. The all-party parliamentary group for Indian traditional sciences that Amarjeet ji catalyzes and holds together is a model for parliamentarian actions across other countries in the world. And together with Amarjeet ji and our colleagues in the Czech Republic, we are very active in developing a model in the Czech Republic, and hopefully other countries in Europe also. We are wanting to develop a all-party parliamentary group for Indian traditional sciences. Finally, I want to thank our High Commissioner here in London, Excellency Gayatri Issa Kumar. Gayatri Kumar, before she came to London, she was the ambassador, Indian ambassador in Brussels for Belgium, Luxembourg, and the European Union. Gayatri Kumarji, she is very, very important for us, and her efforts behind the scenes to do government-to-government discussions, dialogues, I just want to recognize that, and we look forward to her continuing guidance as we progress in all the issues that Amarjeet ji has pointed out here. I also want to highlight here Johari ji, Anil Johari ji, who's with the standards, setting standards for yoga, Ayurveda in India. In one of our previous presentations, he mentioned briefly about the ongoing interactions between the Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of External Affairs, and 6 groups of nations and groups around the world, in which UK is one. There are many things happening at the government-to-government, G2G level. And as requested by Amarjeet ji, I hope that the input from Dwivedi ji, input from Govind Shukla ji, and so many other people here, and also the work that is being done in Canada by Harish Varmaji, I hope we can all rethink and regroup and think about how to take and add to the discussions that are going on there. So Amarjeet ji, Namaskar ji, thank you so much for putting all those points together. We look forward to your continued guidance and input to shape our activity. And you can see from the screen the number of people who are here with us. Thank you again, Amarjeet ji.
Vaidya Devendra Triguna ji is the president of Rashtriya Ayurved Vidyapith also, who is the accreditation authority for Ayush courses.
Devendra ji, we look forward to your continued guidance, and your input is so valuable for all of us, for all the curricula that are being developed. Harish ji here from Toronto has been thinking about minimum standards for Ayurveda practitioners, and it's a long discussion. I want to say Ajit ji here has already done some work in Australia and New Zealand, and I'm so happy, Ajit ji, you're here with us and your experiences. Harish ji, namaskar.
I would like to now request, sir,
please,
Dr. K.K. Dwivedi ji. Dr. K.K. Dwivedi ji is professor and head of the department Kaya Chikitsa in Government Ayurvedic PG College, Varanasi, and he is head of the publication department of Viswa Ayurved person. And our resource person also, he is continuing support, really. Thank you, Dr. Dwivedi.
Dwivedi ji, namaskar, pranam ji, pranam.
Pranam.
We'll try and follow our program as offered by Pawan ji, and I see our next speaker on the program is Jayaprakash Narayan ji, but
Jayaprakash Narayan ji abhi join nahi hue hain.
So while we
और दूसरे अभी वेंकट जोशी जी भी join होने वाले हैं.
अच्छा जी. So what I am going to, Pawan ji, आपकी इजाजत लेके एक थोड़ा सा इंटरवेंशन करें. यहाँ हमारे साथ है स्वीडन से Stina ji. Stina ji, namaskar. Stina, namaskar. You have to, Stina ji is joining us from Sweden. Stina is a board member of the European Ayurveda Association and a great follower of yoga and Ayurved, and wishing to bring Ayurveda to the people of Sweden. Stina ji, the floor is yours just for a few minutes.
After Dwivedi ji, sir.
After Dwivedi ji. Okay.
Right,
Stina ji, please.
after Dwivedi.
Dwivedi ji, namaskar ji, pranam ji.
We will go in sequence, sir.
Sequence.
आदरणीय डॉक्टर पवन जी, इस आयुर्वेद के यज्ञ को आयोजित करने वाले और वो सारे लोग जो इस यज्ञ में समिधा डाल रहे हैं, यह एक बड़ा ही यक्ष प्रश्न है कि क्या आयुर्वेद के अलावा जितने भी ट्रेडिशनल सिस्टम ऑफ मेडिसिन हैं उनमें एकरूपता या एकता जरूरी है। निश्चित रूप से जब हम मिलके काम करते हैं और काफी बिंदु डॉक्टर अमरजीत जी, डॉक्टर मदन जी ने रखी, कई संगठन इससे जुड़े हुए हैं, चाहे वो आयुर्वेद महासम्मेलन हो, चाहे वो नीमा हो, सबकी अपनी अपनी भूमिका है और सबकी अपनी अपनी कार्यशैली है। निश्चित रूप से जब हम भारत के बाहर देखते हैं तो कठिनाइयां और समस्याएं एक अलग प्रकार की हैं। जैसा कि त्रिगुणा जी ने कहा, आदरणीय योगेश जी ने कहा, बहुत से कारणों को फिर से रीथिंक करने की आवश्यकता है। संगठनों का कार्य अपने अपने विषय को बढ़ाने का होता है, लेकिन सबके साथ यह भी सोचना है कि एवरीवन हैज पोटेंसी, बट एवरी सिस्टम ऑफ मेडिसिन हैज their own strength and their own weakness. If you are able to know those things, then without any problem, we will accept the good things from others. अगर हम कोरोना काल की चर्चा करें, सभी लोगों ने अपने अपने क्लेम किए, लेकिन क्या अभी तक कोई कॉमन प्रोटोकॉल हम बना पाए हैं? बिल्कुल नहीं। हम रोज अपने थियरी को, अपने प्रोटोकॉल को चेंज कर रहे हैं, लेकिन अभी भी आयुर्वेद उन्हीं औषधियों पे, उन्हीं सिद्धांतों पे टिका हुआ है। If we have accepted the things that these are the features of corona and we have such type of diseases which can be treated on these fundamentals. If we are not able to name the particular disease, no problem, but on the basis of our fundamentals, on the basis of dosha prakriti, we are able to manage the patient, and we are not changing it either in the form of prevention or it is a question of promotion or it is of therapeutic value. मुझे लगता है कि एक जो कार्य मदन जी ने बड़ा स्पष्ट किया कि इन सारी चीजों को हम कैसे बिना किसी भेदभाव के अपनी कमियां समझते हुए, एक्सेप्ट करते हुए आगे बढ़ें। और एक प्रश्न आया कि एविडेंस बेस्ड नॉलेज, निश्चित रूप से हमें जब अंतर्राष्ट्रीय समाज को दिखाना है, अपनी वैज्ञानिकता सिद्ध करनी है, तो हमें इस क्षेत्र में काम करना पड़ेगा। और इसकी पहल मैं समझता हूं कि बहुत से लोगों ने की होगी, लेकिन बड़ी गंभीरता से मैं देख रहा था कि सभी लोग ये चिंतन कर रहे हैं। मैं समझता हूं कि आज आप सबको बसंत पंचमी और सरस्वती पूजा की बधाई देते हुए 301वीं इस एपिसोड जो डॉक्टर पवन जी ने अपना यज्ञ शुरू किया है और उसका आज 301वां दिन है, मैं चाहूंगा कि इसी तरह से हम लोग अपने विषय पे गंभीरता से चिंतन करें और जब हम बैठें किसी केवल विषयों को लेकर के तो तय करें कि किन किन बिंदुओं में मुझे चर्चा करनी है और उन बिंदुओं को हम ले करके और कहाँ पे कौन चीज बेस्ट हो सकती है उसको अडॉप्ट करने की कोशिश करें। इन चंद शब्दों के साथ आज हमारे पास बहुत अच्छे अच्छे स्पीकर हैं, मुझे सुनने की आवश्यकता है न कि कहने की। इन शब्दों के साथ आप सबको प्रणाम, धन्यवाद।
प्रणाम जी, थैंक यू द्विवेदी जी। आपके 3-4 चीज जो आपने हाईलाइट किया जी कि ये प्रैक्टिस बेस्ड एविडेंस और उस तरह if we start thinking in that direction, I think we can identify those key areas. आपने दूसरी चीज जो बताया कि there will always be difference because the nature of the देश and the काल will always be different. और उसकी तरफ भी थोड़ा अगर सारे मिलके थोड़ा सोच लगाएं, everybody comes together. उसके साथ we must also bring in people from other lands, sir. And we शुरुआत से ही from the very beginning we must get their input कि उनकी मन में are they understanding this correctly, this concept of Ayurveda and the connection with Panjabhut, are they connecting? I think as we progress in our chat, Ajit ji and Harish ji, Ajit ji from New Zealand will give us some insight of how he has been understanding the people of New Zealand, Australia. Harish ji will offer us some insights from Canada. और सुरेश स्वर्णपुरी will give us यूक्रेन की तरफ से क्या है, आयरलैंड की तरफ से क्या सोच चल रहा है अलग अलग देशों में। अब सुरेश जी का he has an interaction with so many countries और हमारे साथ है जी गुप्ता जी, he has interaction with so many countries यूरोप में। तो collectively we can get some very very important key points for discussion. Pawan ji, with your permission, I think Stina ji, I just want to bring Stina ji very quickly from Sweden. Stina ji, she works, she has, she's by training, she's a land surveyor. Sweden has a very old tradition of surveying the land. And the Swedish land survey system is a very respected, globally respected institution. Ab Stina ji ki taraf se background hai ji land survey. She has a surveyor. Magar, as a mother of 2 boys of 10 years and 14 years old, she feels from her heart that unki system mein, the country that awards Nobel Prizes, there is a kami, there is a big, something is missing in her country. Stina ji is a board member of the European Ayurveda Association, and she is continuing to fight with all of us to share with the people of Sweden this deep knowledge. She is already doing courses, yoga courses she is doing with our S. Vyasa in Bangalore. And now she is also learning together with Professor Maruf Atiq and colleagues here in UK. She is learning Ayurveda. I just want to here, this is what I meant by bringing the local people also into our discussion very early on, Dwivedi ji. So, Stina ji, I think in her Punarjanam, she was Indian. Ab is janam mein pata nahi kaise pahunch gaya Sweden. And there is some disconnect here. So, Stina ji, welcome to this forum. Thank you for joining us today from Sweden. Stina ji, I just want to give a few more words just to embarrass Stina ji. Stina ji's grandfather used to be one of Sweden's biggest ice cream manufacturer. Inki parampara mein there is a connection there with food and health. And I don't know, maybe all these are the reasons. So Stina ji, thank you for joining us today from Sweden. Apologies that many of our contributions are in Hindi, but I think having you here and in discussions to follow, we will correct those. So please share a few words And thank you again for joining us from Sweden. You have all the eminent people here. Dwivedi ji is in Varanasi. So when you come to India next, you will be able to meet with Dwivedi ji in Varanasi. And they are the people who can guide you into the depths of the Upanishads and the Vedas and all the deep knowledge too. Welcome to our event today.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. It's an honor to see all of you. Well, yes, here in Sweden, we are around more than 6,000 people who are educated in Ayurveda, just as Ayurvedic practitioners. And that doesn't mean that all of these 6,000 actually work as Ayurvedic practitioners, but they do have some basic knowledge, as it should say, and they're using Ayurveda in their own life because there is something missing for sure here. We have a healthcare system that is considered to be one of the best healthcare systems in the world, and yet people are not treated very well here. We have many cardiovascular diseases, we have diabetes and obesity, and all of these diseases are so related to the lifestyle we have in Sweden. So what we can see here is that we need a system that could help us to change our lifestyle that we will benefit from and to keep our health. And I think that there was a paper on how many people who are actually looking for other healthcare systems to be healthier, and more than 50% is going to see not Ayurvedic practitioners, but also healers in other traditions in Sweden, because they can feel that there's something wrong with the system and that needs to be corrected. Still, there is a lot of things to be done here. We are relying on research and evidence-based medicine, and we need to start the discussions here. We love nature, and that is what I think will be the easiest way for people who can feel that Ayurveda has something to do with nature. So that is how I think we can reach more people. It's when you talk about Ayurveda here, many feel that we already know it, but we don't have the words. And you have the words, and you have the fantastic language of Ayurveda that I would really think that people will understand. So what we're trying to do here is to unite all Ayurvedic practitioners. So next Friday, we will have a webinar. It is the first webinar in Sweden that we will gather everyone. And that is to create a platform for the coming work in Ayurveda. And when we have done that, we really think that it is necessary to put up some standards for the education and also to start a discussion on another level. When people look for healing systems, then there's no one who take care of the standards, and we don't know what can be treated and what could not be treated. And there are also some, we have to consider that the politicians here, they have quite a long way to go. According to the laws and standards, and I think it's necessary to start a discussion here. So we will start next Friday and we will meet. And you, madam, thank you so much. You will join us as well. And there are also some doctors from Pune who will join. We hope that this will be successful. It sure will. And hope to see you sometime in India or wherever. Thank you so much.
Steenaji, thank you so much. You have a lot of friends here now, and I am happy that you have joined us today because we are connecting across the world, and this network will strengthen and extend across the world. So you can depend on all these people here for whatever questions you have about Ayurveda. Before I invite our next speaker, Shekhar ji, because a few people are still not here with us. So Shekhar ji, you are the next person. Just before I invite Shekhar ji and pass the floor on to Shekhar Annambhotla, I just want to say briefly, Stina ji connects with our ambassador and the embassy in Stockholm. There are a lot of discussions that Stina ji is handling in terms of those events. But from our side, from India and from other parts of the world, I think we need to recognize that there is work going on in many other places. Mauritius, Sharma ji is there. We need to see how to put a little more pressure where in those key points where Ministry of External Affairs and the other ministries will start to think about what is going on. So Stina ji, you're very happy you could join us here with us today. The point you have noted about standards in education, this will come up again when we come to Harish ji's talks and other places.
Shekhar is rejoining, sir.
Please join us. So
Shekhar is rejoining, so we can move further, sir.
Okay, Shekhar ji, you are here. Shekhar ji, no, he's here. Shekhar ji, namaskar. I just want to introduce very briefly Shekhar ji. Shekhar ji did his PhD in Jamnagar. I will stop with that because in this group of people, there are many who are here from Jamnagar. I want to highlight Jamnagar here because the World Health Organization, together with the Government of India, has decided they will start a World Center for Traditional Medicine in Jamnagar. So here with us, like Pawan Sharma ji and Shekhar ji is also one of those alumni of Jamnagar, and so they carry a special responsibility. Shekhar ji, thank you for
continuously working, sir. Continuously working for Ayurveda.
These are all people who have spent many years studying Ayurveda, and for the last many decades, 3-4 decades, they are working non-stop for advancing Ayurveda around the world. So, Shekhar ji, thank you so much for joining.
Welcome, Shekhar. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste to everyone. And it's a great honor and privilege for me to participate in this unity meetings and webinars and conducted by my older brother, Pawan Sharmaji. And we have a constant contact with each other and development and new ideas and bringing together. I'm a great honor for me, and it's a great honor that Trigunaji is here, and Devendra Trigunaji. It's a great honor for me with his father, B.D. Trigunaji, and myself and Trigunaji, all together we did a number of consultations, amazing consultations in California, Palo Alto. And it was a great pleasure for me to spend time with Trigunaji and their families and everything. And other AJIT ji is here, and Madanji, and all the people who are respected people who are here. That's a very good platform that what we are doing and bringing together and working on that. Of course, in 20 years, we are doing this APNA, Association of Ayurveda Professionals of North America, bringing together more than 135 countries. Now, this is the only organization giving supporting membership, free membership. Now we are able to acquire more than 250,000 members. Our goal is to reach to the 1 crore members as supporting members of APNA Association. And at the same time, as you know that the United States of America is even though it's one country, the laws and regulations are different from the state to state. That means if I'm living in Pennsylvania, New York state laws are different and Pennsylvania state laws are different. If I am licensed in Pennsylvania, I am not allowed to practice in New York or New Jersey. I need to apply for the reciprocal basis of the licensing authorities like that. Even the medical doctors, osteopathy doctors, licensed massage therapists, anybody. So licensing authority is different. The way of some states, there's no need of examinations, but the reciprocate various states, then you are allowed to practice in those states. So you have a territory is there here. In this territory, we are practicing system of medicine. So as you know that Ayurveda is not as a well-established, recognized in the other countries, except Nepal and India, Sri Lanka. This is a system of medicine as accepted in the government of India as a licensed profession. A lot of practitioners are interested to, oh, you are working there. Why can't we come and work there also? As I'm a surgeon, Ayurvedic surgeon, I'm a Shara Sutra expert, I'm a gynecologist, I'm an ophthalmologist. And here scope of practice is different. As we talk about that, when they don't know anything about Ayurveda, you have to start working in the basic level. That means what is Dinacharya, Rutucharya, lifestyle medicine, lifestyle sciences. We need to bring that Ayurveda into core faculties through this yoga, pranayama, all the different type of techniques, mantra chikitsa, various type of therapies which can be incorporated into the Ayurveda and bring these things. So we are able to succeed in that direction. Right now, we are already appealing for the Pennsylvania governor to recognize the Ayurveda system of medicine as a main system of medicine here also. So what we did it for that, the public has to ask. For that, what we are doing, we are taking a signature drive, and supporting members' goal is that we have to show that this many number of people are interested in Ayurveda. That is a certification showing. So we are already working on the digitalization of certifications. Now, until now, 250,000 certifications we have issued. Along with that, 134 countries, we are categorizing the number of people, which country, which state, how they belongs to that, everything we are giving. Along with that, we will work on bringing this together. For that, as I mentioned to you, Ayurveda, a standard course creating is a very important thing. But at the same time, we are also initial stage to promote this system. We have created an APNAS has created various levels of training. Some people, they are interested in the Ayurveda lifestyle consultation, Ayurvedic health counselor, Ayurvedic practitioner, Ayurvedic doctors who are there, BAMS qualified people, and those who are MDs, PhDs, MD in MS Ayurveda, those people are doctor of Ayurvedic medicine. For example, somebody who is an expert in the research, like we have one of the board member of APNA, Dr. Ram Mohan Rao, is a PhD in the neurosciences. He has done a wonderful research on the ashwagandha on Alzheimer's disease. Ashwagandha in Alzheimer's disease. So what happened? Then we are consider him as an integrative Ayurvedic researcher. So like we have a lot of PhDs who are not aligned with the Ayurvedic traditional training program like a BAMS, MD Ayurveda, MS Ayurveda, PhD Ayurveda, like that. But they are regular MDs, PhDs who are incorporating research work and molecular biology and cancer research and everything. Same thing with Dr. Kamala Madani, who is one of my patients also. She is doing a lot of research on the cancer. Now we are discussing with that. The big funding companies are ready to invest money on the $1 million of projects working on that, getting into the Ayurvedic medicines in the prevention of cancer. This is the work we are going to do it also. So this is a lot of research work is going on. Being a teacher, educator, more than 33 years, I'm practicing Ayurveda in the system of medicine here. And our state regulations are important, and standardization of education important. And we have various levels of, like for example, food and nutrition is also a very important factor for the maintenance of good health. Ahara, Vihara, Aushadha. Aushadha part comes last. We are always looking for the medicine. It's not necessary to give the medicine. The medicinal qualities are there. And for example, in European countries, when I was traveling in Europe, even the broccoli capsules are available. And even the asparagus capsules are available. Olive leaf extract capsules are available. Various food supplements as the dietary supplements given as a medicinal qualities, which we can give safely and very effectively. And that's the thing we are doing. It's not necessary that we have to give Manasa Mitravati or giving an Bhratvat Chintamani, those type of medications are having heavy metal contents are there. As we look into that now, cases are coming in Australia also. Now, Manasa Mitravati, one of the Ayurvedic doctor, prescribing for the patient and telling that, oh, this will cure your autism. It's never mentioned anywhere that autism will be cured with these things. This is the blunder mistake of the Ayurvedic practitioner, how he has to practice like that. He can tell that, okay, this is the thing, but at the same time, the flaw is there. Why we need to treat the people with Manasa Mitravati only? Manasa Mitravati is prescribed in India. And whereas here, simple Brahmi, simple Ashwagandha, simple Shankapushpi, these herbs can be given. And simple Nasha therapy can be helpful for that. And we have created oils which can help them to relax them things. I am helping the people with more than 300 autism spectrum conditions like that. Those we are helping them with a natural way, simple way, and with the diet. Diet is very important because a lot of children, they don't eat healthy diet. Change the diet. Then you see the autism spectrum conditions and all the conditions can be changed. It's not necessary that we have to give a Manasa Mitravati tablet for the patients. Otherwise, we are unnecessarily leading to various problems. So we really working on these areas and
Today, please guide us.
conditions.
Today, please guide us how to improve unity amongst us.
Exactly. Yeah. Unity in
Only
that, what you are doing such a great job. You are putting together such a nice program like that, unity. You are already started unity. We don't need to restart again. And you are already bringing the ideas and everything. I don't need to reiterate like that and everything. Trigunaji is here and Bhamra ji is here. All the people, Suresh ji is here and AJIT ji is here. I myself is there. Madan ji is there. All our people are unity. Is already we are talking. अभी शादी में गया है और शादी में क्या शादी और लड़का और लड़की का रिश्ता क्या है ऐसा पूछ रहे हैं आपको. अभी this is the unity consciousness we are bringing. Wonderful. We are giving a platforms together and definitely we are working on this area and I am very, very thankful to you and all the other people. Such a wonderful knowledge they are giving. And my goal is that to bring all together, that's the thing, we are connecting to all practitioners together, all the qualifications together, all the research, everything has to be published on the website. That means what is happening, research can be put it on the website and everything can be put it on the website. Then people can look into that and review it, what is going on. Thank you very much. Namaste.
And, I would like to request to Shekhar ji to bring us or to take us to world tour of 130 countries with you, with Apna. We will definitely conduct 130 webinars for different each individual country as global Ayush series. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. You are every time cooperating and as we are discussing every day. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Shekhar ji, thank you so much for your
My apologies to Sri Ajit ji. I am sorry, extremely sorry, because in his country at present 3 a.m. time is there. So I have disturbed him. I am sorry, sir. Dr. Madan, sir, please.
Shekhar ji, thank you so much. We don't want to hold Ajit ji. I have several points in response to your thing, but we don't want to hold Ajit ji too late because it's already 3 a.m. in New Zealand. Ajit ji, floor is yours. Namaskar. There are many points that Shekhar ji touched on that you are already working on, and the issue about diet and poor diet that Stina ji talked about, and there are many threads, and I don't want to say more, but I just want to hear from you about this issue of unity. I see a lot of unity already, but let us hear from New Zealand, Australia. Welcome, ji. Welcome.
Namaskar. 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 Namaskar.
Greetings from Australasia, New Zealand and Australia. It's an honor for me to be on this platform where dignitaries like Trigunaji, Amarjeet ji, and Madan ji, and our senior Ayurvedic physicians are. And then I think it is only the vision and the thought and the passion of Mr. Pawan ji, who tried to hold these type of webinars. And as he said in the beginning, he just need an excuse to bring people together, whatever day he bring up. And that's the reality of a passion for Ayurveda, to get to hear from the dignitaries about their life experience, about their vision for Ayurveda, so that, just to one example, what Amarjeet ji has done whole his life, what Triguna ji and his father, they have devoted their life for Ayurveda, not for themselves. They don't need any one word of praise or recognition, because the knowledge and the experience, what they have for Ayurveda, that is a different, but they have spent their life to bring Ayurveda for the communities in the whole world. And on that same line, we feel very honored and privileged to contribute towards Ayurveda in whatever capacity, as Dr. Shekhar mentioned. I'm in association with Dr. Shekhar, either it is just through the phone calls, and like for the last 25 years, we together, since he's in USA and I'm in New Zealand and Australia, and talking about the same thing what he mentioned. Because the challenges what we are facing in Ayurveda in this part of the world or every other country is all about that how Ayurveda in the right format of its practice and teaching and the use of product can be taken further, not for personal gains of anyone, of the living people like us, but for Ayurveda, so that Ayurveda is the science which we are today talking, and we always talk about that it's in a 5,000-year science. But the question comes up, why the whole world is looking towards Ayurveda today? Only of its value and the philosophy and the principle what our sages has given us. But if they are not being followed in the same traditional and authentic way, we can make this Ayurveda just another modality. As we see all over the world, every day new modality comes up. And that's what important is for us to bring that level of the standards in practice and teaching. And this will never happen without unity of everyone together, especially our officials, our seniors who are in India. Because I just will take 5 minutes to share what we are facing for the last 29 years. I'm in Australia and New Zealand living there. And when we were here, no one knew about Ayurveda. But today I'm feeling proud to say and share with all of you, and I have shared at many times also, that Australia and New Zealand are the only two countries where we have national government's recognition for the 2 qualifications in Ayurveda. And Australia and New Zealand are the only 2 countries where Ayush doctors can start practicing as an Ayurvedic practitioner from the very first day. But that does not mean anything, because this is all for Ayurveda, not for any individual. And I feel the work what Honorable Amarjeet ji doing in England, that's an example, that's the model. I personally tried to do that in Australia and New Zealand, and tried to contact many of our MPs and trying to share with them. But their only one point has been putting us all the time out, that our own communities, our own Indian population or the organization, they don't support That's the biggest problem we are facing in these countries. And when we wrote letter to Ayush Ministry, I know that Ayush Ministry is doing wonderful job, but when we go to the ministerial level, talk to the health minister in Australia and New Zealand, they want the communication not to come from the associations like we have, whether it is the ICAM we have or some other associations are in Australia or like that. They want that, okay, how your government is advocating this system of medicine, which you want to be recognized by us. And these are the issues which we are facing, and I hope this platform, Pawanji's effort, can break this stagnation and something can be done if we really want Ayurveda to be growing or establishing around the world, as Trigunaji mentioned and other senior speakers have mentioned. It will only happen if we bring standardization. As Dr. Shekhar mentioned that yes, in these countries, Ayurveda has nothing to do with the medicine. Medicine, yes, play a role, but that's only in a secondary. Ayurveda is accepted around the world now because of its holistic approach, its lifestyle component, and understanding on the diet, lifestyle, environmental factor, mental factor. Nowadays, today is the biggest mental health issue around the world. And Ayurveda is the science. I'm not going to be biased that I'm an Ayurvedic doctor, but it's a reality. If we or other governments at national level, international level, really feel that mental health need to be tackled, only one system in the world is what can offer that, and that's Ayurveda. But that not the Ayurveda within a weekend courses, 200 hours courses, or an online courses, that not Ayurveda going to help public. That will only take their confidence away from Ayurveda. And that's what we all need to look at. Dr. Shekhar has brought very, very important part what we are facing in Australia about the standardization of the medicine. And because this is where, in spite of all the requests to our colleagues and others that not to use these kind of heavy metals, rasa preparations and like that. And we know that rasa preparation has their biggest role, but the way local government or these Western world look towards Ayurveda, they are very, very concerned about the heavy metal. And it is only because the ignorance, and ignorance again only can be eliminated if our officials from India, Ayush Ministry actively taken a part. Now in latest budget, which happened last week under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Ayush Ministry has been given such a big boost for their budget. And we feel that they should constructively look towards making an effort to talk to these governments and come here and work with the local associations so that we can ultimately take Ayurveda further where it can be sustainable. And that's the only way we can work out, and that Pawanji's word is unity. We have to have a unity among our graduates, our practitioner of whatever level. We have to have a unity of our community. Our backing of the communities are lacking in this part of the world. When we talked to the last time to the Minister of Health in Australia, he said that because Chinese medicine is being recognized by them at a different level. And his point was only that because the whole Chinese community stand behind their practitioner. And when we talk about, no one is there with us because everyone has their own agenda. So this is the sad part, but I hope not to lose hope. At least 30 years gone in this part of the world, and all the time talking apart from what we do as for our living practice and other thing. But point is not just to live your own life and pass away. If you can do something even a little bit for the community, for the science, what you belong to. And the examples are of Dr. Amarjeet Varma. He is not practicing, but he is standing every moment of his life for this science, and he's trying to bring that level of awareness around in the London or Britain or even Europe. And that's what I think we all should look at, taking our own agendas away, come together, whether it is not only one country, but all the countries should come together and create much more stable standards in practice, teaching, and as well as standardization of the product. That's the way unity will come up. And that's all I would like to share. And thanks again for giving this opportunity. Madanji, you've always been great and has been a torch bearer for Ayurveda in every platform. And now Pawanji has joined, and again, it's always an honor to be getting a message from Pawanji to come and talk about. So thanks once again to all of you.
Ji, thank you so much. It's a delight to have you here.
I salute your passion, sir, that at 3 a.m. you are with us. Really, I salute.
Thank
Great.
you, Ajit. Always, you have given us a very key point today. When I was after Amarjeet Ji's presentation, I talked about the importance of the High Commissioner in government-to-government dialogues, and we are very lucky to have Her Excellency Gayatri Kumar here. And she herself is a very close follower of Ayurveda, and that brings a difference. I'm hoping there will be many more heads of Indian missions of that stature who will bring this difference. So thank you for highlighting that one point. Standards, we recognize. One of our speakers to follow on, Harish Ji, will talk about it a little more in the context of Canada.
Mohsin Ji has joined, sir.
Mohsin Ji, namaskar. We are very happy to have our Mohsin Ji as the next speaker. Now we are shifting a little bit from Ayurveda into Unani, and this is also an expression of unity that is required within the Ayush systems. Mohsin Ji is joining us from New Delhi, and he runs his own company making Unani remedies called Devi Remedies, and he's the president of the World Unani Foundation and the general secretary for the Unani Drugs Manufacturers Association. So Mohsin Ji, thank you. Mohsin Ji is a very close associate for all our events. He's with us all the time and introducing new people to us. So Mohsin Ji, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
On this Unity Day, and please guide us.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I was traveling and I just reached home. But fortunately, I am lucky that I got all of you here on this. Thank you very much for the invitation. Let me just give a brief about myself. Dr. Madanji has already given a brief that I am the president of World Unani Foundation. And this was basically formed in 2012. So we are completing 10 years, I think, in March. And we normally have seminars, webinars, now is the new word, webinars. International conference we've held in Delhi in the year 2017. We had about 30 delegates, international delegates. And now due to the COVID, we are restricted to just webinars. But tomorrow we are having a seminar in Aligarh, where it's a hybrid one. So I'll send the link to you. You can all join us in the morning tomorrow. Basically, Unani is a system that originated from Yunan. Yunan basically means Greece. The funny part is that now Greece does not know what Unani system is. It traveled from Greece to Persia and the Arabian countries. And from there, when the Indian people used to have trade. So that is how the Hakims came to India. They were given patronage by the Rajas, Maharajas at that time. And so normally the medicines are slightly expensive than what we have in Ayurveda. बिकॉज ये राजा महाराजों का इलाज होता था, तो उसमें हर चीज, यू नो, saffron, moti, basam, gold, silver, so all these were used at that time. There's an ingredient called amber that is about, today's rate is 20 lakh rupees a kilo. So that is also put in some of our khamiras. Now this is how it traveled to India, and the Rajas, Maharajas gave us the patronage to the system. And then we all know that Hakim Ajmal Khan, he was the basically person, the Hakim, who, I mean, it was, the system was dying after the Rajas and Maharajas. Even that time, the Ayurveda was on the back foot. When the Britishers were here, they wanted to promote, in fact, they were promoting the allopathic system. And the Veds and the Hakims were, you know, not allowed to practice at that time. So in the near, I think 1920s, it's now 100 years, he opened a college in Delhi, the Ayurveda and Unani Tibia College, which still exists. It was an integration between both the systems, and that is how, and he was a freedom fighter also. So these two systems survived the Britishers, and that was, you know, and otherwise they wanted to kill these two systems and introduce the allopathic medicines. And now we are aware that Ayurveda has grown so much internationally as well. Unfortunately, Unani has not grown as fast as the Ayurveda. Maybe we were, I think, a lack of awareness, or we can say that I think even now, because of this nomenclature, unfortunately for the Unani system, the Ayurveda is known as Ayurveda throughout the world. But we have different nomenclatures for Unani system. In India, we call it the Unani medicine. In Pakistan, it is called the Eastern medicine. In Iran, it's called the traditional Islamic medicine. If you go into South Africa, it is called Tibbi medicine. So this is how, you know, so the word Unani is not very famous internationally. There was some work, or I think there was a demand by the Indian government in the, I think, UN Assembly or something, to have one nomenclature for this system. And they wanted to push Unani into that all the system should be known as Unani. But ultimately, it was not agreed upon by the Iranians. They insisted that it should be called the traditional Islamic system, which obviously you cannot give a religion to a system. And that is why the government of India did not agree to that. And so that is why Unani is Unani, and the other countries call it into their own language. In China, it is called Yuvar medicine. This is a brief about Unani. We have about, if we compare the market size vis-a-vis Ayurveda, we are, I think, just 10% of Ayurveda, or maybe even less. Colleges also, we have, I think, 40 or 45 odd Unani colleges, vis-a-vis, I think, 150 or 160 we have of Ayurveda, or even more. The practice also, again, the industry, we have about 8,500 Ayush manufacturers in India, and out of which only 560 or 570 are of Unani, the rest are of Ayurveda. So this is the brief about Unani, and basically it's again, it's very similar to Ayurveda. I mean, we have the same humoral theory, where the system is based upon the Hakims or the Veds touch the pulse and tell the patient what the problem is. Obviously, the X-rays and the blood tests, they came much later on. But the Vaid or the Hakim used to just touch the pulse of the patient and used to tell him what the problem is. And now what happens is that basically that time, if a patient went to a Hakim or a Vaid, he used to just feel the pulse and tell the patient what the problem is. If the patient used to say something before the Hakim or the Vaid used to tell him what the problem is, the Hakim and the Vaid used to tell him that I am a Hakim. Why are you telling me what your problem is? I am supposed to tell you what the problem is. You know, and if you know the problem, then why have you come to me? And you should also be knowing the medicine. So you could not speak in front of the Hakim or the Vaid that what problem you are facing. It was the Hakim or the Vaid who used to diagnose the patient. Now the problem is when you go to a doctor, you tell the doctor says, yes, what is your problem? So he'll say, Dr. Sahab, I have this problem, I have this problem. This is the difference between the allopathic and the Ayurveda and the Unani system, where the Vaid does not ask the patient what problem he has. You know, so this is a major difference between these two systems. And unfortunately, because there was a lot of MNCs coming into play, that is why these systems were sent on a back foot. Even now, in different countries, these two systems are feeling, or they know that there is some pressure from the MNCs not to allow them. We are all aware that the EU had banned the herbal medicines. In some countries, it's still banned. And basically pressure was from the MNCs, the multinational allopathic companies, to push the system back, because they knew, yes, that these two systems are a direct competition. So a lot of pressure being given on the governments not to allow the herbal system to grow. Some countries have fought back, some have agreed to what is happening now. For example, if you see the Gulf countries, there is a very big scope for Unani. But unfortunately, the system is not being allowed to be, the medicines are not being allowed. I mean, they are having a course of approval of Hakims. They have every 6 months, they have an exam. If you pass that exam, you're allowed to practice Unani. You're allowed to practice Unani, but the medicines are not allowed to be imported. So it's just a farce that they allow the system, but the medicines are not available. So this is the scenario of Unani vis-a-vis Ayurveda or the allopathic system. And I think that is all. Thank you very much for inviting me. And again, sorry for joining you very late. Thank you very much.
Moshinji, thank you so much. You have given us deep insight into some of the challenges, and you have taken us quickly deep into the history of Unani. And you said, you were so right in saying people in Greece don't know what this system is all about. Also, you touched on the key point about this difference of naming of the systems in different parts of the world. Although in Europe till about 1600s, Avicenna's Canon of Medicine was the standard textbook of medicine here. And people have forgotten all these historical things. Thank you so much for being with us today and touching on several other points about the competition from MNCs. Yesterday, one of our speakers, participants highlighted the use of brachypodium for management of lung cancer. And from Hyderabad, there was somebody with us yesterday. We are following up all of those stories. So thank you, Moshinji. Thank you for being with us and guiding this activity of this Pawanji's efforts. And we appreciate very much your leadership. So thank you again. As we proceed onto the next speaker, I want to invite our senior colleague, Harish Varmaji, who does so many things. Most importantly, his presence in Canada. Harish ji is very special. He comes from, he's a third generation Vaidya. with a lot of skills. He studied Ayurveda in Punjab. He runs a factory producing some amazing formulations based out of Himachal Pradesh. But he has decided that he will go and live in Canada. But not just living in Canada, he is one of our active players like Amarjeet ji. He connects with our consulate, the Indian consulate in Toronto. He connects with the Canada-India Foundation, and he brings a lot of energy into taking Ayurveda into the mainstream system of healthcare in Ontario. And he is connecting with the university health networks there and has many, many ideas in mind. And he's deep into the issue of unity and developing curriculum, etc., etc. Harish ji, thank you so much for finding time to be here with us today. Namaskar ji.
नमस्कार, थैंक यू सर। सभी आचार्यों को प्रणाम। आज का जो टॉपिक है यूनिटी इज एसेंशियल, इसमें मैं थोड़ी सी एडिशन करता हूं सुनने के बाद कि यूनिटी इज एसेंशियल फॉर रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ आयुर्वेदा आउटसाइड इंडिया। तब ये कंप्लीट हो जाएगी लाइन। जो आज का टॉपिक है इससे कंप्लीट हो जाएगा। तो मैं सीधा पॉइंट पे आता हूं क्योंकि टाइम मैं खराब नहीं करना चाहता। तो मैंने वैद्य त्रिगुणा जी को सुना, अभी शायद वो चले गए हैं। तो उनकी स्पीच में दो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट थे। एक तो ये कि जो आयुर्वेदा एजुकेशन का करिकुलम है, सिलेबस है आउटसाइड इंडिया, वो यूनिफॉर्म होना चाहिए। दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। सेकेंड, उन्होंने कहा कि आयुर्वेदिक मेडिसिन को केवल डाइटरी सप्लीमेंट के तौर पे आप लोग उसे रिकॉग्नाइज ना करें, इससे दीज आर ट्रेडिशनल मेडिसिन। ये दूसरा पॉइंट। मेरे ख्याल ये दोनों पॉइंट अगर हम इस पे फोकस कर लें तो आयुर्वेदा को बहुत जल्दी हम वर्ल्ड वाइड रिकॉग्नाइज करवा सकते हैं। ये की पॉइंट्स है। अब एक टेक्निकल पॉइंट मैं और ऐड करना चाहता हूं। जब हम आयुर्वेदा को रेगुलेट करवाने की बात करते हैं तो आयुर्वेदा रेगुलेट कभी नहीं होगा किसी कंट्री में। आयुर्वेदा प्रैक्टिस रेगुलेट होगी। तो प्रैक्टिशनर्स के बारे में हमें करिकुलम बनाने चाहिए। उसके बारे में स्कोप ऑफ प्रैक्टिस, उसके बारे में डिस्कशन करना चाहिए कि अगर कोई प्रैक्टिशनर जिसने ये सिलेबस पढ़ा हो उसने क्या क्या आगे प्रैक्टिस करना है, इसके बारे में डिस्कशन होनी चाहिए। त्रिगुणा जी चले गए हैं। मैं एक पॉइंट अगर मैं स्क्रीन शेयर कर सकूं, लेट मी शेयर द स्क्रीन। तो
शायद पवन जी की परमिशन चाहिए। शायद पवन जी, यू हैव टू मेक हरीश जी को को होस्ट बना दीजिए।
नहीं, प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं, ही कैन प्रेजेंट।
अच्छा, हरीश जी आया नहीं आपका स्क्रीन? आ गया जी, आ गया।
हाँ, अभी एक सेकंड में।
त्रिगुणा जी चले गए हैं सर, लेकिन यहाँ विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद की हस्तियां मौजूद हैं। गोविंद शुक्ला जी हैं, के द्विवेदी जी हैं, मिश्रा जी हैं। तो ये विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद भी बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग वो अपनी क्या कहते हैं एसोसिएशन है।
ये डॉक्यूमेंट जो मैं शेयर कर रहा हूँ दिखाई दे रहा है? आयुर्वेदा ट्रेनिंग एक्रेडिटेशन बोर्ड।
इसमें तो एक स्लिप दिखाई दे रही है, कैप्सूल का प्रिस्क्रिप्शन।
नहीं, ये
हरीश जी, यू हैव टू सेलेक्ट द करेक्ट विंडो। अगर लगता एक बार और शुरू।
एक सेकंड, मैं इसको दोबारा से।
हाँ जी, प्लीज
दोबारा से करता हूँ। सॉरी बहुत टाइम खराब हो। तो उनका जो आरएबी का जो डॉक्यूमेंट रिलीज हुआ है उनकी वेबसाइट पे, उन्होंने पूरे सिलेबस बनाए हैं अलग अलग कोर्सेज के। उसमें आयुर्वेदा प्रैक्टिशनर का कोर्स कोई नहीं। ये
आयुर्वेद प्रैक्टिशनर का कोर्स बनाएंगे तो सर बीएमएस एमडी कहाँ जाएंगे?
नहीं, आयुर्वेदा प्रैक्टिशनर्स इन वेस्ट। जो आयुर्वेदा
उन्होंने
practitioners
बनाया।
outside India।
नहीं, ट्रेडिशनल हेल्थ प्रैक्टिशनर का एक बनाया है, चेष्टा की है उनने, लेकिन इन इंडिया तो वो नहीं बना सकते ना।
नहीं सर, वो जो अगर हम इसकी WHO का करिकुलम देखें, पहला जो डॉक्यूमेंट WHO ने बनाया है, उसमें उन्होंने आयुर्वेदा प्रैक्टिशनर्स के लिए 1500 घंटे का और 2500 घंटे का कोर्स बनाया हुआ है। लेकिन ये जो डॉक्यूमेंट नया आया है RAB का, उसमें जो कोर्स बनाए हैं, 7-8 कोर्सेज बनाए हैं, उसमें पंचकर्मा का भी है, मर्मा थेरेपी का भी है, लेकिन उसमें एक कोर्स है आयुर्वेदा हेल्थ काउंसलर, लेकिन वो प्रैक्टिशनर का नहीं है। आयुर्वेदा हेल्थ काउंसलर जो है वो सिर्फ दिनचर्या, रात्रिचर्या और प्रकृति वगैरह वगैरह इन सब चीजों पे प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हैं। लेकिन आयुर्वेदा प्रैक्टिशनर हमें चाहिए जो कि यहाँ की जो दवाइयाँ हैं, खास करके जो प्रोडक्ट्स अवेलेबल हैं, इसमें मैं एक चीज और बता देता हूँ, जो प्रोडक्ट्स के रेगुलेशन है वो ऑलमोस्ट सारे कंट्रीज में बन चुके हैं, ऑलमोस्ट ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड। प्रोडक्ट्स के जो रेगुलेशंस है, अगर यूएसए में देखें तो डाइटरी सप्लीमेंट्स के रेगुलेशन ऑलरेडी हैं कि कोई प्रोडक्ट है उसके लेबल क्लेम्स क्या होने चाहिए, उसके इंग्रेडिएंट्स क्या होने चाहिए। ऐसे कनाडा में नेचुरल हेल्थ प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं, उनके रेगुलेशन ऑलरेडी बन चुके हैं सब जगह, लेकिन प्रैक्टिस करने के रेगुलेशंस नहीं बने हैं। तो आयुर्वेदा प्रैक्टिस के लिए आयुर्वेदा प्रैक्टिशनर्स इन वेस्ट, उनके लिए करिकुलम पहले WHO ने दिया था, लेकिन RAB ने नहीं दिया है। RAB ने जो दिया है, कोर्सेज दिए हैं, मैं चाहता हूं कि इस पे भी हम लोग एक लंबी डिस्कशन करें, क्योंकि उसमें पंचकर्मा के ऊपर उन्होंने कोर्स दिया है और उसकी जो प्री रेक्विजिट है, उसकी जो क्वालिफिकेशन दी है एडमिशन लेने की, वो +2 दी है। तो पंचकर्मा
उसका डिस्कशन अपन 8 तारीख को कर रहे हैं सर, फिर दोबारा गाइडलाइंस फॉर स्टैंडर्ड्स उसके एक्सपर्ट फिर बुला रहे हैं।
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल। ये
आज तो आप गाइड कीजिए हम लोग यूनाइट कैसे हों।
आपके सजेशन दीजिएगा हरीश जी, जरूर एक बार देखेंगे। बिल्कुल
जी सर। तो ये जो यूनाइट, जो आपने यूनिटी की बात की पवन जी, ये यूनाइट के लिए तो हम लोग सब तैयार हैं। हमें सिर्फ एक लीडरशिप चाहिए। कोई एक कंट्री, जैसे शेखर जी हैं, वो यूएसए से लीड कर सकते हैं, डॉक्टर मदन जी हैं, तो एक अम्ब्रेला के, एक रूफ के अंडर हम लोग अगर सभी आ जाएं, खास करके, और एक एजेंडा हो कि रेगुलेशन ऑफ आयुर्वेदिक प्रैक्टिस आउटसाइड इंडिया, इसको अगर लेके चलते हैं तो इस विषय के ऊपर हम लोग यूनाइट हो जाए और एक दूसरे की हेल्प करें कि हर, क्योंकि रेगुलेशन हर कंट्री में अलग अलग होंगे, उनके अलग अलग गवर्नमेंट्स के साथ उनकी मीटिंग्स करनी पड़ेगी, लेकिन हम एक कॉमन एजेंडा बनाएं कि आयुर्वेदा प्रैक्टिशनर बनने के लिए दिस इज द करिकुलम, जो मिनिमम करिकुलम है, और उस करिकुलम के आधार पे उसका स्कोप ऑफ प्रैक्टिस भी एस्टेब्लिश करें कि अगर कोई आयुर्वेदिक प्रैक्टिशनर है, वो तुलसी, नीम, चिरायता, गिलो, हल्दी, इनके एक्सट्रैक्ट्स के कैप्सूल जो कि हर कंट्री में आजकल अवेलेबल है, उनका इस्तेमाल करते हैं, तो वो कितना इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, किस लेवल पे, या अगर कोई थेरेपी करनी है, शिरोधारा करना है या वस्ती करनी है, वो कहाँ तक वो इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, ये सारे हम मिल करके डिसाइड करें। और इसी दिशा में हम अगर आगे बढ़ते हैं कि आयुर्वेदा प्रैक्टिशनर्स को कैसे रेगुलेट करें, इसके बारे में अगर यूनिटी बनाए, हम कनाडा से पूरी एसोसिएशन लेके तैयार हैं, हमें लीडरशिप प्रोवाइड करें आप लोग। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू हरीश जी। यू हैव आपने जो बात जो उठाया जी, दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। आई वांट टू टच ऑन दिस बिफोर टेक द फ्लोर बैक फ्रॉम यू, बिकॉज यू आर हियर विद अस, और शुक्ला जी है, गोविंद जी और द्विवेदी जी भी है हमारे साथ, सीनियर लोग। आई जस्ट वांट यू टू हाईलाइट वो जो छोटी चीज, अदर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज की, नो डाइल्यूशन। आपने जो मंत्र है आपके 3-4 शब्दों की, वो थोड़ा बता दीजिए जी इनकी, just because it is running in the context of that unity towards achieving. So you have highlighted unity towards achieving a curriculum for practice of Ayurveda outside India. So Pawan ji की बात is correct. कि BMS और MD, PhD वगैरह हिंदुस्तान में चल रहा है, that is good for India, but it is not recognized outside. और आपकी तरफ से आप बता रहे कि please define those practices that can be used and that can be used outside India. What are the skills and what is the scope of practice? So these are very subtle points. I'm happy you have introduced, but before I let you go, वो 3-4 शब्द जो आप प्रयोग करते हो कि डायल्यूशन वगैरह वगैरह थोड़ा बता दीजिए जी, क्योंकि सीनियर लोग हैं हमारे साथ आज, द्विवेदी जी है, शुक्ला जी है, थोड़ा उनको just to familiarize. It is a long topic for discussion, but at least please introduce this from your side.
Okay. मैं 95 में पहली बार भारत से बाहर आया और मैंने इंग्लैंड में डॉक्टर श्री गोपी वारियर जी के साथ काम किया। उनकी कंपनी थी आयुर्वेदिक कंपनी ऑफ ग्रेट ब्रिटेन। बाद में उन्होंने कॉलेज शुरू किया ACGB कॉलेज इन थेम्स वैली यूनिवर्सिटी, तो उसमें मैंने पढ़ाया भी। तो उन्होंने मुझे 2-3 पॉइंट बताए कि अगर आपने वेस्ट में आयुर्वेदा को लेके आना है तो 3 चीजों का ध्यान रखिए। 1 कि आयुर्वेदा बिलोंग्स टू इंडिया, ये हमेशा प्रचार करना है कि आयुर्वेदा इंडिया का है, ओनरशिप आयुर्वेदा पे इंडिया की है। ये फीलिंग हर आयुर्वेदिक प्रैक्टिशनर में आनी चाहिए। मैंने कुछ दिन पहले यहाँ पर अमेरिका में कुछ एक एसोसिएशन है, नामा, शेखर जी जानते हैं, उनके कुछ मेंबर्स के साथ बात हुई। उनको मैंने कहा कि आप लोग RAB से मिल करके कुछ काम करें, एक यूनिफॉर्म सिलेबस पे काम होना चाहिए। तो उनके कुछ मेंबर्स कहते हैं हमें जरूरत ही नहीं है, हम उनकी टेरिटरी में नहीं आते हैं, हम उनकी जुरिस्डिक्शन में नहीं आते हैं। ये पॉइंट है। तो आयुर्वेदा की ओनरशिप हमेशा इंडियन रहनी चाहिए। ये मुझे वारियर जी ने बहुत अच्छे से समझा दिया था और मैं उसको फॉलो कर रहा हूँ। दूसरा पॉइंट, उन्होंने कहा कि आयुर्वेदा को कभी डाइल्यूट नहीं करना है, कोई भी उसका सिलेबस, कोई भी उसकी थ्योरी, उसको डाइल्यूट नहीं करना, और देयर शुड नॉट बी एनी डिस्टॉर्शन। जो आयुर्वेदा का कोर है उसमें कोई डिस्टॉर्शन नहीं चाहिए। तो 3 पॉइंट उन्होंने मुझे पढ़ाए और मैं तीनों को लेके चलता हूँ और उसी का प्रचार करते हैं। अगर सिलेबस की बात भी है, जैसे मैंने अभी कहा, जैसे पवन जी ने भी कहा कि BMS का सिलेबस ऑलरेडी एक फुल फ्लैश करिकुलम रिकॉग्नाइज्ड है इंडिया में, हम उसको डाइल्यूट नहीं कर सकते, परफेक्ट है वो लेकिन इंडिया के लिए है। लेकिन हम वेस्ट में, क्योंकि यहाँ पर टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट है, यहाँ की कल्चर अलग है, यहाँ के फाइनेंसेस अलग है, उस एंगल से हमें एक छोटा कोर्स डिजाइन करना चाहिए, करिकुलम फॉर बिकमिंग ए आयुर्वेदा प्रैक्टिशनर इन वेस्ट। उसके बाद अगर किसी ने आगे पढ़ना है वो इंडिया में जाके BMS करे, उसके बाद MD करे, उसके बाद PhD करे, वो आगे स्कोप बहुत ज्यादा है। लेकिन हमें जो आयुर्वेदा के कॉन्सेप्ट, करिकुलम, बुक्स, सिलेबस, किसी को डाइल्यूट नहीं करना है। ये 3 पॉइंट्स पे मैं हमेशा काम करता रहता हूँ। थैंक यू सर।
हरीश जी, थैंक यू सो मच। आई आस्क्ड दिस मेरी तरफ से, आई थॉट दिस पॉइंट इज इम्पोर्टेंट क्योंकि सीनियर लोग हैं जी हमारे साथ। तो आफ्टर ऑल द presentations, I would like very much to invite Dwivedi ji and Shukla ji just to see if they have understood the subtle thing, aapne jo bataya, the subtle, very subtle aspect that you have raised, and we will get some feedback from our senior people here. I'm just shifting away. So thank you, Harish ji. Thank you so much for sharing this, but please don't go away kyunki we need your presence here for this interaction we will have with Dwivedi ji and Govt Shukla ji from the university. I'm shifting away slightly from the program. I want to invite Ish Sharma ji. Sharma ji is our professor in Mauritius, and Ish ji, I'm sorry to bring you up at such short notice, but please guide us in this theme of unity, because you are our ambassador for Ayurveda in Mauritius and looking after countries in Africa also.
1 minute, sir. I'll take 1 minute.
Take it, please, please, please. Take your time, ji, because you are, Ishji interacts a lot in Mauritius, and he also looks after and follows, observes all the developments in African nations. So Ishji is very, very important for us. While Ishji joins us, Pawanji, shall we continue with the next speaker, or shall we just...
Suresh ji had joined, but I am not observing him. So, Shri
Achha.
Suresh Swarnapuri ji.
Suresh Swarnapuri ji is joining us. Suresh ji, namaskar. Suresh ji.
No, he is disconnected, I hope.
Suresh ji's contribution is very important because he's connecting with so many countries here in Europe, from Ukraine to...
I am dialing him, sir. I am dialing him. In the meantime, we can invite Dr. Risha from Singapore.
Risha ji, namaskar. Risha ji, and Risha ji is joining us from Singapore.
Namaste. Thank you,
Risha ji,
Madam sir, for welcoming
Namaste
me.
ji.
Thank you, Dr. Pawan. And it's been a pleasure listening to all the dignitaries today and all the seniors from all different walks of Ayurveda, all the specialities, and it's always an enlightening experience for me. And today on this topic of unity, I think there are a few points that as we were going through the discussion, that there was a point raised about how Chinese system of medicine stands so strongly behind its practice. This is something that I have also noticed in Singapore. And given that I think I should introduce myself first of all. So I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner and naturopath practicing in Singapore for the last 5 years. And so I've been practicing more of Ayurveda plus naturopathy in the clinic that I'm associated with as a consultant. And I've seen a lot of traditional Chinese medicine practices and acupuncture also. So I have a lot of exposure in that. And what I really liked about the traditional Chinese system of medicine is that there is no confusion in people when they talk about their system. Like in Ayurveda, there are two types of doctors we see in India. One who are most of us who are like very attached to Ayurveda. We like to practice Ayurveda and propagate Ayurveda. And there are some who practice mixed pathy, and then they want to practice allopathy and things like that. What I saw in Chinese medicine and I got inspired from, and I think we should also learn as practitioners for the younger generations to come, that, the belief that you should have in your system that which makes you stand united for Ayurveda should be inspired. We should take inspiration from them. And it's not just in what we see there, the kind of rules and regulations they have for their pathy are also tremendous. Like, for example, if you are an acupuncturist, from anywhere, and you are trained from anywhere in the world, you can not practice in Singapore unless and until your degree or your certification is from a college in China. So that is the kind of importance they give to their course and curriculum, and their roots. So I think this is the kind of approach that we also can adapt and use it for propagating Ayurveda across the world. And if I talk about how unified we can stand in the field of Ayurveda, I think it's very important that through this platform, as we are connecting with Ayurvedic practitioners and doctors from all over the world, we discuss all the issues like this and help people, following generations to come, to adapt to these changes, so that the confusion goes away there and they become more and more resilient in practicing Ayurveda with confidence and a lot of courage. And in Singapore, as it is, I have mentioned before also that we can practice Ayurveda, but there are drug regulations related to what kind of drugs that are available. Plus, obviously, we cannot use heavy metal preparations there, and there are issues that have come up, just like, for example, autism nowadays. I have worked a lot in this field in the last 5 years. I've worked with a lot of children in the autism spectrum, and what I have seen is that they are very sensitive to heavy metals. And as Dr. Shekhar was mentioning the case about this child in Australia, I think it becomes a far greater responsibility that when we as Ayurvedic practitioners get patients from this kind of, new age problems that are related to lifestyle and diet, and toxicities, we become a little more conscious in the way we are using our herbal preparations and medicines, because again, the challenge comes in the kind of preparations that are being prepared from the company itself. So if we could have a little more standardization in the brands also that are providing herbal preparations to our practitioners abroad and in India as well. Because this is a little bit of a challenge that I have also faced while practicing, is that we have n number of companies now providing Ayurvedic preparations, but it's very hard to actually know which are the ones that are actually prepared the way they are mentioned in the API and traditional, Ayurvedic following the traditional Ayurvedic formulations, so that we also feel more confident when we are prescribing those herbs, that we know that, okay, I'm giving something, this is going to work for the patient. So I think there are some brands which are actually available and also work for the patient, but there are some others that I think there should be some kind of standardization in these herbal formulations, so that we are able to sorry, just a second.
Rishaji has raised some points that are very important. I want to press her when she returns about the kind of difficulties she might. Rishaji, back.
Yes, hello.
Rishaji, please continue.
Yes, sorry, I have a little son who's 3-year-old.
Is everything all right?
Okay. Yes, everything okay. Yes.
Are you able to continue, or you wanted?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Thank you.
So as I was mentioning that the kind of from the myriad of brands that are available nowadays, every day I see a new brand coming up with for Ayurvedic formulations and new types of combinations that are not even traditionally mentioned in the books. I think some kind of standardization of this herbals also should be there, so that for a new practitioner or somebody who is just coming up in their practice, they can actually sort the kind of herbs they want to use for prescription. And I think this can help a lot of people who are new in this practice, like me maybe, to make it easier for them to use those formulations in their practice and make it use it with more confidence, because every time it is not possible to get the herbs from scratch and prepare your formulations.
Rishaji, I wanted to for shortage of time, I'm just going to ask you a difficult question. And this is and before we bring Ish Sharma,
yes.
The difficult question I want to ask, again, it touches on this aspect of unity. And you correctly said that the Chinese system there is no confusion there. And the Indian systems, Ayurveda, Siddha, I know there's a lot of Siddha use also in Singapore, Malaysia. There is a lot of confusion. And I can also, I want to touch 2 points here. One is uniformity and standards of preparation. Moshinji is here. I saw him nod his head when you were talking about standards of preparation. So Moshinji is listening to this, and we can learn a lot from the Unani systems and particularly what he's doing. The point I want to touch here, I'm going to be very undiplomatic, and but it's a very important point, because Ajit ji has raised this, Amarjeet ji has raised this, and also Harish ji in Canada has raised this. My question to you is, have you ever felt that you are not supported by the Indian mission, the High Commission in Singapore? I raise this because we have people from so many countries. Ish ji interacts in Mauritius and with Africa. Amarjeet ji does work here in the UK, Harish ji in Canada, and Ajit ji in New Zealand and Australia. And so we have a lot of people working in different parts. And sometimes I feel the support that we should be getting from the Ministry of External Affairs and the Indian missions is not enough. So this is a very undiplomatic question, but I want to put this on record here by asking you whether you have felt that you haven't had enough support from the Indian High Commission in Singapore for advancing this dialogue and narrative about Ayurveda.
So, sir, so
If
far
you're
the
unable
time.
to if you're
Yes.
unable to answer the question, I can appreciate, but if you can give us some input in that direction, it would be valuable.
Sir, I will just like to say two things here. One is that I have not actively reached out to the High Commission in this regard. And and the other thing is that I once attended an Ayurveda conference in Singapore about in I think 2017, and the late Srimati Sushma Swaraj also was present there. So there were a lot of issues raised there, but I didn't see any. That was my personal observation, that there are a lot of the senior practitioners also in Ayurveda. Nobody seemed to bring that forward, that that there is something more to be needed, and how we can make this more viable and more, for the fraternity there. So this was something that raised, like, it was a traditional seminar and a lot of people were invited. There were ministers there and a lot of things, but I think I didn't find a focus on doing something more.
You couldn't see a follow-up action. If you are able to share with us the minutes of that meeting or any document, then I'm sure we will be happy to look into this thing. It's very important what you're saying, and especially with Prime Minister Modi ji wanting a new narrative in post-COVID about the one earth, one health, sustainable systems. What you're offering is very important. Thank you so much, Risha. Your contributions, you have touched on some very, very important points, and I'm happy that Moshinji is here with us listening to this. Also very happy that Dwivedi ji and Shukla ji are also here listening to this. So what you have given us is very, very valuable. And as it is being recorded, we will revisit this. We will listen to those things very closely, and then come back to you with some feedback so that we can take this forward. Thank you, Risha ji. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much. Don't go away, because we might need you as we go into the discussion section. I invite Ish Sharma ji, Professor Ish Sharma, joining us from Mauritius. Ish ji, thank you so much. You are not on our flyer, but you are here with us. So we want to make best use of your presence, especially with the senior people here with us. Namaskar. Thank you for joining us. Please tell us, for people who were not here in previous events, please tell us a little bit about yourself and where you are in Mauritius and your connections with the African nations. Namaskar ji.
Right, so namaskar to all. I am Professor Ish Sharma, and the government of India has come up with this idea of establishing academic chairs in Ayurveda medicine at various countries. Right now, India has shortlisted some 13 countries, and this is the only Ayurveda chair functional today. And another one is coming up at Latvia, maybe by next week. We'll be having one lady traveling to Latvia from Mysore. So I really heard a very wonderful discussion, and the problems which was put forward by Dr. Harish ji is very valid. On this day of unity, what we call this, there cannot be a better time to come forward and unite when it comes to forming a standardized Ayurveda education and training module for the world, especially outside India. Because I remember when I was teaching Ayurveda in Singapore in 2007 and 8, for the information of Dr. Risha, I believe she's from Singapore. Then we developed our own course, and the government of Singapore was helping us with 90% of the fees coming from the government of Singapore under something called SDF, Skill Development Fund. And the courses were available. The fund was available if you were 40 plus. They believed like you are not very IT savvy and you require more skills. And the oldest student we enrolled was 82 years old, Chinese person. So like there were many persons coming, and I trained nearly 300 persons in Singapore upon Ayurveda. When I went to European countries, then we made our own courses. Every time we were like customizing and making whatever we could make. And that is where we were lacking standardization. Any person working anywhere, could be Dr. AJIT ji or Dr. Harish ji, everyone is coming up with one's own curriculum. We can come up with an international Ayurveda bill or maybe international Ayurveda university possible. And the idea to the government of India, to WHO.
इश्जी आपका आवाज कट रहा थोड़ा, आवाज चला गया जी आपका. Sorry, we have lost your signal somewhere.
Yeah.
Why? Ishji, can you hear us? I'm happy that we drew Ishji into the discussion because he has opened up a very, very important point about the Ayush chairs across different parts. Ishji, thank you.
Yes,
Can
sir,
you
I'm
hear?
available now.
Oh,
So
okay,
maybe
thank
if
you.
I can I continue, Madanji?
Please, we can hear you clearly now.
I'll be concluding.
No,
If we
please
can,
take your
like,
time.
if we can have some experts from different continents or different countries, and we can form a group, and we can pitch the same small curriculum which should be applicable outside India, or there could be a few, like one upon preventive medicine, one could be upon gynecology or pediatrics, or or general medicine, or hygiene, whatever. Or we like mixing all. If we can make a small curriculum which should be forwarded by the Ayush Ministry to WHO, and every country outside India should be following that curriculum only. Then on this day of unity, we could really unite all the expatriates who are working outside India, and there can be a real standardization which is much more required. And once a country knows that this curriculum is acceptable in various other European countries and developed countries, and maybe it could be easier for them to follow suit, and we could be more acceptable, because products are there. As Harish was telling, every city has got Ayurveda products, but Ayurveda academic curricula or academic modules are not very much recognized or are not available. You make your own curriculum and you push it forward as much as you can as a private practitioner, as a business person. So we really can bring forward this standardization, and I believe this is greatly required.
Ishji, you have touched, before we let you go, you have, number one, you have touched on some very key points with examples. We appreciate your comment about what the Singapore government did for training people, for skill development. That is so important for us because we didn't know about it. And thank you so much for raising this. Number two, seniors are here with us. Dwivedi ji is here, Govind Shukla ji is here. For their sake, you have given us some valuable input about the Ayush chairs. The first Ayush chair that was established was in Debrecen in Hungary. Professor M.S. Begel went there. That was followed by Asmita Velleji. And now that, as far as I understand, that is remaining vacant. Moscow had a Ayush chair. Riga had a Ayush chair, but it is vacant right now. And so we are very proud that you are there holding at least one global Ayush chair. Amarjeet ji has been trying to get the chair in London. Instead, he has got research projects, which is also, in a way, it's a give and take kind of situation. But for the sake of Govind Shukla ji, Dwivedi ji, please tell us a little more about your interaction with African nations and where is your mind in terms of where we can go. Thank you.
Okay, when I started, like when I joined Mauritius, and because I have to report to the High Commissioner of India, and Her Excellency Madam Nandini Singla is a very keen follower of Ayurveda, and she was so happy to know that there is an Ayurveda chair, and she also worked very hard to materialize this chair being functional, being in force as soon as possible. And now the High Commission of India, this is for the information of everyone. The High Commission, the first question put to me by High Commission was, when you visited so many countries, you taught Ayurveda in many European countries and Singapore, why did not you contact any High Commission over there or ambassador over there? Because they believe that people who are not doing any great job, who are not related to Ayurveda, are going to them and they want something in the name of Ayurveda. So we all should for sure be going to the ambassadors and high commissioners, and they are looking forward, they are waiting for the ones like us. And they will be more than happy to participate in every capacity they can. And we believe their inputs are very valuable. And this is like, they convey this very frankly, that if in our tenure, if in my tenure, I can pitch Ayurveda at certain platform, then nothing better than that. So it's been a great support. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ishji. Thank you so much, because you have pointed Her Excellency Singlaji. She was previously in Lisbon. Amarjeet ji has had a lot of interactions with Her Excellency Singla, and I'm so happy that you highlighted this point again. And the point of G2G interactions. There is a difference between government to government interactions versus the interactions that we can do, the interactions between the sciences, the unity that is needed. So you have highlighted several key points today. I'm so happy you are here with us and willing to spare a few minutes just to share your thoughts. Please, if in a few minutes, if you have one or two other comments you want to make, we would be happy to receive. Before we take up. Before
सर
we
अभी
take-
4-5 स्पीकर बाकी हैं.
Achha.
I'll take your leave, sir, and
शुक्ला जी,
I'll take your leave, and we meet again on 8th, because 8th is the dedicated day for such a discussion.
Thank you so much. Thank you. But if you can stay with us, don't go away, because there might be one or two questions. We have.
Very much.
Thank you, Ishji. Very, very inspiring and very informative. Some of the points you have touched on. I think our speakers list has Secretariat.
as you instructed, sir, Govind Shukla ji can comment on all discussions.
Dr. Pawanji, I'm wondering if Govind Shukla ji is not has time to stay with us, then we just and Dwivedi ji has time to stay with us, then we take the last speaker, Secretariat. And then
Secretariat Vasu is not there, sir.
Oh, Secretariat ji, are you here with us?
No.
I'm here. Yeah.
Secretariat ji, the floor is all yours. You are the last speaker for the day. Then we open up for discussions. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks. I'm traveling in a car, so it's a little bit bit jerry. So I apologize for that. But what I would like to highlight is like this has been an erudite lecture, and there is a lot of opportunities. But at the same time, we need to be really practical. Ayurveda is still the COVID has opened up a lot of opportunities for Ayurveda, particularly in the Western countries where there is a strong interest now. But at the same time, there is a lot of misinformation and fear about Ayurvedic practices, particularly regarding the dosages and other applications. And still a vast section of Western allopathic doctors do not really look into Ayurveda as a sustainable solution. It's a kind of a political, a kind of a business related confrontation with this, but nonetheless, it's popular. People are getting interested about it, and there is opportunity to grow. But one of the biggest thing that I think will be important is there are lectures, there are papers and publications that needs to be expanded, to make Ayurveda popular. Mainstream publications of Ayurveda in collaboration with Western universities is very important, because people these days are very well aware of what's happening around the internet. In spite of a lot of misinformation that we have, there is still a lot of interest, but that needs to be catered into a positive energy, and that's where various Ayurvedic organizations in India and their international counterparts in other countries, particularly in the Western countries, where the regulations are way stricter than, say, what you would have in Latin America or Central America or in Africa. And then this is the bulk of the business, because these are the rich countries. They have dollars. They can buy services at a high rate. And if you are promoting Ayurveda in Rwanda and I'm promoting Ayurveda in Germany, makes an impact, because Germany has a lot more strong stakeholding international politics and plot. I think that the current Indian government has been very supportive of the traditional medicinal practices. This Ayush ministry, I think, is a wonderful approach, but this needs to be extended further to our high commissions and embassies. Say, for example, if I go on, to an university or to a person, a private company, enterprise and stuff, people may listen to Ayurveda and stuff. But if it is promoted through the High Commission, through the embassy, it's way more appreciated. It's way more strongly believed. The government of India holds a lot of cultural programs in various countries through their diplomatic missions as a soft power. Today, Ayurveda has the high potentiality of a diplomatic software for diplomatic software power for India. The government needs to encourage having, Ayurveda fair, Ayurveda information dissemination, Ayurvedic treatment and stuff. If these things happen within, with a strong support from the government of India, many of the international governments and other countries would not intervene because, this is the diplomacy thing. If a country is promoting it, they are not selling products, but the country is promoting through their embassies, through their cultural programs. It's more acceptable to the people in those countries. For example, I'm saying, no matter how much we say, how much we praise Ayurveda, a small clip of Shah Rukh Khan saying something positive about Ayurveda and disseminated through clips or PowerPoint presentations through the Indian High Commissions and embassies to other countries, it has a way more high impact because our movie stars are very well popular, particularly in the Western countries, particularly women. They love Indian dresses, Indian dances, Indian food. Now it is the part to cater about the traditional Ayurvedic medication. One of the important challenges is to handle with the, people have a lot of misinformation and fear about Ayurvedic dosages. They are afraid that sometimes if you take those plants and stuff and you try, you may have an opposite reaction, you may die, you may have a heart attack. And there are a vast section of doctors who also does not promote Ayurveda, particularly, in European countries, allopathic mainstream doctors, they're more focused towards medicinal plant chemistry, but they really do not like to promote traditional medicinal practices from Oriental countries, whether it's from China, Tibet, India, or other parts. So to do that, the government of India has to take a next initiative. And if the organizations across the state, I'm not an Ayurvedic practitioner, but I have seen differences of opinion, difference of likings and dislikings of various Ayurvedic organizations. There's a north and a south divide. There is a Western India, Eastern India divide. There's a Central India, Northern India divide. This is the time of opportunity. We have to throw and wash away all our differences in various Ayurvedic organizations, their principles and stuff, to promote it internationally. Work together, have your differences. This can be resolved down the line, and many differences could not be resolved even in 1,000 years. So let's join hands. If we are looking for unity, it is time to push the government of India. There is a favorable government. Previously, Ayurveda has not spread because none of the Indian government from the day of the Indian independence had ever taken any interest in promotion of Ayurveda in other countries, particularly in the European countries. And if now we have a favorable government that promotes and likes traditional Indian values and medication application, if they start promoting, they take premier institute, like if the government of India is promoting an Ayurveda fair or a dissemination workshop camp or an information workshop camp, and they take some of the best Ayurvedic professors or medical practitioners or those who are in the top of the business down there and help in promoting those programs, it will have a strong impact. Include a bunch of Bollywood stars with that. If you cannot get the first ranked ones, even the second and third ranked ones will do too. This will have an impact. Ayurveda has a strong cultural impact, and there is a lot of, because of India is an ancient civilization, there is a lot of interest among people about ancient, ancient civilization, cultural aspects and medicine in that particular sense, because it's also way cheaper. It has the market, but the government India needs to play the cards properly. And if they use it as a software through many of their programs, which they do, like there are international, movie theaters or Hollywood, Bollywood collaborations, this program, that program, it goes on throughout the year. Ayurvedic programs or promotion of Ayurveda needs to be integrated into those programs. We were talking about one particular individual or one particular commissioner from one particular country. That's great, but to spread it, it has to come from the government. If the government indicates that they are interested in promoting things about Ayurveda, many other high commissioners, chief commissioners will be interested in promoting through their programs. So the push has to come from the top level, and the push from here has to begin by various Ayurvedic organizations on the Ayush Ministry and also to the Foreign Ministry and also the Prime Minister's office. Keep writing, keep pushing, and it will make impact. The first thing is that, like, if we expect that Ayurveda will become an overnight success in Western countries or other countries, it will take time. In underdeveloped or developing countries like Africa, Latin America, I mean, they also have their own traditional medicinal system. And as you know, people from that particular country will have faith on their own traditional systems first, and then they will have faith on the available secondary transition systems of medicine. So rather, I mean, we may look for promoting, it is easy to promote the Ayurvedic medication in Africa, but because there will be less restrictions. It is easy to do it in Latin America, Central America, but there is less promotion, but there is less impact. And also people have limited income. So unless it's really within their affordable range, I do not see that our Ayurvedic companies are going to make a big jump down in the long run in these countries. But particularly European Union, US, Canada, and other countries, or Australia, New Zealand, where there are affordable families who can afford to take medications, whether even if it is treated as a herbal medicine. This will take time, but over the decades, over the steps and times, this will become successful because this has a lot of opportunity. So
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm interrupting here because you touched on some very, very key points here about
no problem.
How, once again, you are echoing the comments that there much more can be done through the government of India, through the Ministry of External Affairs, through the missions. And this is something Amarjeet ji and we've been working on for a long time.
I will just add one last point, is because, we have lived under British rule for 400 years. We have a colonial mentality. Go to the Ministry of External Affairs, it will take time. Hit the jackpot. Push through the Prime Minister's office, things will work faster.
Thank you. I look forward to leadership of people like Moshinji and several others here to go on that approach you have recommended. Thank you so much, Secretary, joining us.
Thank you so much for providing me the platform. I appreciate it.
I hope you are, I'm assuming you're joining us from Alberta today.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope the weather is good, not too snowy there. And thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You are the last speaker for our wonderful group that we have. We have, I think if Pawanji permits, we will have a few minutes for opening up all of today's events for discussion. But before I do that, Pawanji, I just want to get 2 minutes from Vishnupriya ji, because she has put a very, very important point in the chat box about the two divisions in how Ayurveda can be appreciated. Vishnupriya ji, thank you so much for putting the key point in the chat box, that there is already a difference in how we can interpret Ayurveda. If Ramadas ji was here with us, we could have had some more. You say there are two varieties of Ayurveda, Artha-rupa and Sattva-rupa. And it is already written in the Samhitas, Charaka Samhita, Sutrasan, 30th chapter. Swadrupa remain constant to one earth, one health mission, while Artha-rupa go on changing all the time. So thank you so much for highlighting this. We just want to hear a little more from you about this. Also within Ayurveda, we have this difficulty about the Tattvic understanding versus the Samhita understanding versus the Vyavahar aspect. And there is some difficulty there in the Tattva Shastra Vyavahar kind of divisions. Please tell us a little more, you.
Yeah, sir. Namaste. Am I audible, sir?
We can hear you.
Yes. So now whatever we are trying, that's happened several times about the evolutions of Ayurveda. That is termed as Ayurveda Avatarana. So now we are expecting the evolutions of Ayurveda for fifth industrializations, that what we are doing continuously. We did the addition to get the subtraction value. 80 rupees out of 100 rupees. So it could be 80 plus 20, then become 100. So that's the directions how to proceed. And that's why I refer that concepts from Sutra, the reference you have already declared. So Sabda Rupa in the sense, whatever the documentation, the principle itself. It is Buddhi Samana. If we will collect same or similar things, then there will be Buddhi, there will be increase. But when we'll change the items, when we'll change the place, when we'll change the persons, then that's the matter. So we are facing the difficulty that how we can make. There is the problem. So problem is in the applications, problem is not in the principle. So let the principle to constant in the syllabus, and applications we can hand over to the persons who is belongs to that particular country. Then it will be more easy. For example, I can take like COVID-19. It was completely unknown to us before 2020. Now we learned just by expanding our principle and bringing the applications through different medications, sometimes let's say non-pharmaceutical preparation, all the way we have tried to establish the principle. And that is, of course, different from one country to another country. That was my intention to share. It is, yeah, sir.
Thank Vrishni Patelji. I think you've touched on a point that is now embedded in everybody's minds here. So we stay with us. We will come back to this point. I just want, before we go to our two senior people here, Dwivedi ji and Shukla ji. I think Shukla ji is still here with us. I don't know if he has left us, but Dwivedi ji is still here with us. Before I go to Dwivedi ji and Shukla ji, I just want to get 1 minute feedback from Nilakshi, Dr. Nilakshi Dev Chowdhury. Nilakshi ji, namaskar.
Good namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Am I audible?
We can hear you clearly.
Yeah,
please.
Yes, sir. So the meeting was very nice. All our speakers have given us very good concepts about the scope of Ayurveda in India and abroad. And we were enlightened. And there are a lot of things where we can work together, and we have to stay united to lead Ayurveda forward. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Nilakshi ji. Thank you for joining us. You are joining us from Assam, if I remember correctly.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Namaste ji. I think it has been an extremely important event today because Pawan ji has brought so many people from around the world. And also Moshin ji is here with us, bringing the perspective from the Unani side, and also touching on some very key points here about the MNCs and the strategies they have to block the advance. And I think at this point, we need help from the government. And without that, we can't, when we go into the area of trade, inter-country dialogues and trade and all these things, it becomes very difficult. So I'm grateful that Ishji pointed us to the current High Commissioner in Mauritius, Singlaji. She was very important because she's a very passionate fighter, and she was in the heart of activities related to a conflict that India had with Germany, with one of the German pharmaceutical companies, and one of the drugs that was being pushed into India. And Singlaji was very, very instrumental in framing a tight rebuttal to that intervention. The details are in the press. Moshinji will come back to this point. And you opened up a very important point that sometimes prevents unity, because all of us are working together in some way, and there are forces working at some other level that breaks down our efforts. So thanks to Ishji for bringing this point up. I want to see if, before I pass the floor on to Shuklaji and then to Dwivedi, I want to see if Shekhar-ji has something to add from Philadelphia.
Madanji, Dr. Madanji, thank you very much. This is a wonderful platform what you created, and as well as Pawanji. What we are doing, we are always talking and everything, we are not putting on the paper. You have given a lot of points and everything. Everybody is given, Trigunaji has given some points, and AJIT ji is given points. What I wanted you to do, write down everything, send it directly to the Minister of Ayush
Okay,
and
sir.
PMO office. What are the people joined? Even though it is a private entity, NGO body, it's not like conducted by the Ayush Ministry is doing this activity. Ayush Ministry is doing its job. We are also doing our job. Everything Ayush Ministry cannot be done. The private sector is also doing their work. And these outputs, what we have discussed, these points and everything from Mauritius, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Australia, and Canada, and USA, and UK, all the people who are joined, who are the stakeholders, names of the people, associations, and bulleted points like that, write up like that, and send it directly to the Prime Minister Office and Ayush Ministry.
We will do
Then,
this, sir.
that is the really good, and that at least you have a documentation is there on your paper. Then in future, the same thing, we are not dwelling into the same repeated points.
And we can move
Charvite charanaha, charvanaha, like that. We don't want to do it like that. We wanted to bring new ideas, new points.
Thank you, sir.
Move on
Thank
to the
you.
right points.
Shekharji, thank you. Your point is noted. Thank you so much. I'm happy I drew you into this into this last few minutes of our discussion today.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank everybody here today for very, very rich presentations and comments, and and we can see a very strong flow here. And as Shekharji has pointed out, we will make a transcript of this of today's event. We will highlight all the key points, and also, as suggested by Basuji in Canada, we will make sure this goes to the Prime Minister's office, the transcript of today's talk and the key points that will, with the help of Govindji, Shuklaji here with us, with the help of Dwivedi, who's here with us, we will make sure that something will reach the highest office in the country. So with those few words, having thanked everybody, I pass the floor to Shuklaji and then to Dwivedi and then back to Pawanji to take to the last minutes. Thank you. Shuklaji, thank you so much for staying with us. We want to hear your words, Ji. Namaskar, Ji. हाँ जी, आपका आवाज आ रहा है जी।
हाँ, आवाज आ रहा है? हाँ, ठीक है।
आपकी तरफ से थोड़ा सा अगर बताएं जी, आगे कहाँ जाना है, क्या करना है?
हाँ, थैंक यू मदन जी, पवन जी, जिस विषय को लेकर के आज की चर्चा की है, वो चर्चा आप सभी के माध्यम से एक सार्थक दिशा की ओर जाएगी। सबसे मैं आप सभी को नमन करता हूं कि हम देश के अंदर काम कर रहे हैं और हमारे बहुत सारे मित्र जो विदेश की धरती पर आयुर्वेद के सिद्धांतों, विष्णुप्रिया जी ने कहा नॉन फार्मास्यूटिकल इंटरवेंशन, शेखर जी ने भी कहा कि हम आहार विहार दिनचर्या योग ऐसे सिद्धांतों को लेकर के काम कर रहे हैं, औषधियों को लेकर काम कर रहे हैं और काम कर रहे हैं, आयुर्वेद को प्रोपेगेट कर रहे हैं, आयुर्वेद के माध्यम से सेवाएं दे रहे हैं और किन किन परिस्थितियों में, किन किन चुनौतियों के साथ में, चैलेंजेस के साथ में, वो सारा मुझे आज सुनने को भी मिला। और निश्चित रूप से मैं पवन जी को भी कहूंगा इस सारे विषय को कंपाइल करके, और विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद का जो विदेश विभाग है वो पूरे इन विषयों को देखता है, तो उनको देख करके जो भी ऐसे विषय हैं, चाहे वो हमारे करिकुलम को लेकर के है, ड्रग्स को लेकर के है, उन विषयों को लेकर के कंपाइल करके मिनिस्ट्री को, पीएमओ को, उनको भेजने का जो है विचार परिषद के माध्यम से, परिषद के विदेश विभाग के माध्यम से करेंगे। और निश्चित रूप से जितने भी आपके जो विचार आए हैं, सजेशंस आए हैं, उन पर एक पूरी टीम मंथन करके, चर्चा करके और एक सही दिशा में उसके सकारात्मक परिणाम निकले, उस दिशा में विश्व तैयारी करेगी। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
नमस्कार जी, थैंक यू सो मच। वी विल फॉलो अप शुक्ला जी, वी लुक फॉरवर्ड टू आपकी तरफ से भी थोड़ा मार्गदर्शन के लिए, वी विल लुक फॉरवर्ड टू यू जी, हेल्प इन दिस। I pass the floor to Dwivedi ji. Dwivedi ji, namaskar ji. Pranam ji. Namaskar ji. Unmute. Daksh aap thoda unmute kar लो।
Thank you, sir.
हाँ जी,
Thank you. Thank you.
जब कार्डियक पल्स डाउन होता है
चिंतामणि रस, बृहत्वाद चिंतामणि रस, ये अच्छा रिजल्ट। तापेश्वर की हृदय रोग चिंतामणि रस और ऐसी बृहत्वाद चिंतामणि रस, वो भी अच्छी रिजल्ट है उसमें।
डॉक्टर साहब आपका आवाज थोड़ा कट रहा है जी, द्विवेदी जी।
जी सर।
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
नहीं ठीक है, हमें लगता है कि आज का जो उद्देश्य था वो पूरा हुआ। वी हैव फिनिश्ड द टास्क व्हाट वी हैव planned, and we have to follow the same, and regular follow-up is important. It is not that we have discussed all these things and then we left it, but seriously we have to think upon this, and we have to do it on practical basis. Maybe some regular discussions are important in these such cases. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dwivedi. Very happy that you could stay with us through the whole discussion and could listen to all the contributions from around the world. Right. Before I pass the floor back to Pawanji, I just want our senior Vaidyaji, Rajan Patangarji. Rajanji, namaskar. Rajanji is joining us from Mumbai.
नमस्कार नमस्कार। अभी फिलहाल जरा बाहर हूँ, इसके लिए पूरा सुन नहीं पाया हूँ, पर फिर भी मेरी एक राय ऐसी है कि मिनिस्टर लेवल तक तो ये सब बातें होनी चाहिए, पर इसके लिए थोड़ा सा जन जागरण ये भी जरूरी है, क्योंकि लोगों की तरफ से अगर आयुर्वेद को या पूरे आयुष सिस्टम को अगर अच्छे दिन लाने हैं, कि मोदी जी का जो टैगलाइन है, तो उसके लिए जन जागरण भी उतना ही जरूरी है। क्योंकि अभी भी बड़े बड़े सिटीज में लोग पहला प्रेफरेंस कोई भी चीज के लिए एलोपैथी या इंग्लिश मेडिसिन का देते हैं और सेकंड प्रेफरेंस आयुर्वेद को देते हैं। और जो भी ज्यादा पढ़े लिखे हैं उनके क्वेश्चंस बहुत ज्यादा रहते हैं, तो इनके लिए भी जन जागरण की टॉक्सिसिटी है, मतलब आपने इसके बारे में भी बहुत बार चर्चा हो चुकी है, तो मेटल्स के बारे में है या जो अपने रसकल्प है उसके बारे में, तो उसके बारे में अवेयरनेस। और मेरा उसमें और एक मैं ऐड करना चाहता हूँ कि जो भी कंपनियां है कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जो कर रही है, उनका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस भी अगर अच्छी तरह से रहेगा तो लोगों के मन में कि आयुर्वेद भी एलोपैथी से भी फास्ट एक्टिंग मेडिसिन आयुर्वेद में है, ये भी एक होना जरूरी है। तो ये हमको जैसे भारत में तो अभी मिल रहा है, पर बाकी देशों में भी ये मिलना जरूरी है। तो इसके लिए जन जागृति कि जो हमारे माध्यम से महाराष्ट्र में आयुर्वेद व्यासपीठ के माध्यम से होती है, पर वो एक ही स्टेट के लिए होती है, तो ऐसे पूरी दुनिया में होना, ऐसा एक मेरा ख्याल है। मदन जी और पवन जी, इनके जो एफर्ट्स है, तो हैट्स ऑफ उनके लिए। और जो भी चल रहा है उसके लिए हमारे क्या बोलते हैं, चींटी इतना या स्क्विरल इतना पार्ट है, पर फिर भी हम जुड़ते रहे हैं और जुड़ते रहेंगे। ये जो अच्छा आयुर्वेद के लिए जो चल रहा है, उसके लिए हम सब लोग आपके साथ जरूर है, कि जैसे कि शेखर जी है या सभी जो लोग हैं, तो आपके लिए सपोर्ट में है ही। धन्यवाद मदन जी, धन्यवाद।
राजन जी, थैंक यू सो मच कि आप जुड़ गए। शायद आप पुणे में हो, पता नहीं, पुणे में। थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग अस जी।
वेलकम वेलकम।
So once again I thank everybody, बहुत बढ़िया discussion and very key points. इसमें when we impromptu जो निकला था वो है सच, मेरे मन में आ रहा है कि देखो ईश जी की तरफ से जो आया, very key points, very very important points कि सिंगापुर की गवर्नमेंट की हेल्प किया कि स्किल डेवलपमेंट के लिए। This can happen in any government, मगर इसके लिए वो मिनिस्ट्री वाले की तरफ से भी थोड़ा मदद चाहिए हमें। मिनिस्ट्री एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स के वालों से, प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफिस की तरफ से भी थोड़ा मदद अगर हो, we can do many things. I can see Professor Ish Sharma nodding his head. Namaskar ji, thank you for agreeing with what I just said. Pawan ji, having thanked everybody who was here.
Vishnu Prasad Sharma ji. विष्णु प्रसाद शर्मा जी बाकी है अभी,
और पवन जी to take the floor.
बीके अग्निहोत्री जी for concluding remarks.
Thank you. नमस्ते.
Thank you sir. आदरणीय विष्णु प्रसाद शर्मा जी।
नमस्कार पवन जी, Respected Madan Thangavalaji, distinguished guest speaker, आज का प्रोग्राम तो बहुत अच्छा हुआ है. सभी लोग ब्यूटीफुल पॉइंट्स सजेस्ट किए हैं. तो हमारा तरफ से हम ये बोलना चाहते हो, the teaching should be same all over the world. Whatever syllabus follow in India, that should be follow in other countries also. Then it will be good. For foreign country, less syllabus, I think from my side, it will be not good. And whatever point has raised, we have to meet our Prime Minister, PMO office, and Ayush department also, put all this problem to Prime Minister office and Ayush office also, along with suggestion. So thank you, Pawanji and Madan Thangavalaji, for organizing a very wonderful discussion. Namaskar to everybody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your blessings. जी सर, मदन सर.
अग्निहोत्री जी हैं. अग्निहोत्री जी जाएंगे सर.
VK Agnihotri ji for concluding remarks.
Yes, Vishnupriya.
Thank you, Dr.
Namaskar. We wait to hear from Agnihotri ji. Namaskar ji, Agnihotri ji. Namaskar.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, sir. Our respect and regards to all the great dignitaries and all the speakers for their best presentation. Stepping in 301 webinar, it itself proves that Dr. Pawan Sharma is now proceeding towards the success for which he has started this mission. And as he is a Rasagya, he is an expert of Rasha Shastra. As the mercury is bubukchit, made bubukchit, so he made all the learners, all the great contributors bubukchit to put forward with their ideas, with their knowledge to make more and more successful. And what I can make one sentence statement for all 20 speakers, a big galaxy, that their knowledge in the reference of the COVID-19, their knowledge decoction has become so vital and immunizing that it will definitely give the immunity to our webinar, that the mission, the topic which we started today for the unity, world level unity. The fact is this, that all the speakers came forward with their honesty that we should be united. United in the terms of the knowledge, united in the terms of the say teaching, research, methodology and all that. But the fact is that because of some restrictions of different countries, say UK, USA, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, and all these are governments, they are having their own restrictions regarding the licensing, manufacturing, teaching, learning, practicing. So the differences are there. The only thing could be done that this is a high time when we can have the benefit of it for promoting Ayurveda world at a global level with the presence of our respected Modi ji, that he is interested to Ayurveda to be promoted. As Madan sir told, that G to G. If the government to government, any sort of the collaboration could be established, the Ayurveda will be having a wonderful, say, time in the coming years. So all the contributors, right from Shekhar, right from our AJIT sir, he also put forward very important with the problem that persons are not supporting or the government is not supporting. Nisha also told something very vitally. Our Harish Varmaji came with their view. So the total amalgamation of the things is that we are all one, and the theme is to be taken up. The theme is this, that the Ayurveda is to be promulgated with the persons help, those who are already residing there, and making all efforts to the establishment of Ayurveda. So from India, every sort of support, as far as the academicians are concerned, is always there. As far as the government is concerned, it is up to them that how our Koteja sir and our Ministry of Irish will come forward to make its possibility, because leaders must be there. One thing very clear that Dr. Harish Varmaji told, that Ayurveda should be put in the same shape. It should not be distorted and it should not be dissolved. So with these clue point, it should be promoted, and persons are there. Most of the time the persons are coming from India itself. So they will see the life of Ayurveda there in their countries. So with this remark, I think it was a wonderful webinar today, and all the speakers deserve very, very great congratulations for their contribution. Thank you, sir. Over to Madan sir and Pawan sir. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. You have made the day. Shukla ji, Dwivedi ji, Madan sir, Agnihotri ji, विष्णु प्रसाद जी और सब स्पीकर, भामरा जी अभी तक रुके, मैं उनका आशीर्वाद चाहता हूं, वो ऐसे ही जुड़ते रहें, और जो जो हमसे आज जुड़े, मैं आशा करता हूं कि कोई एक हमारा सहारा बने। अब मैं थोड़ी सी आज की बात पे स्वार्थ की बात कर लूं, कोई एक ऐसा, क्योंकि प्रोफेसर्स हैं यहाँ, एक स्टूडेंट की मेरे को यदि कोई मैं नंबर दे दें, मैं उनको समझा के उन बच्चों पे टाइम रहता है, यदि इसके हम मेमोरेंडम बना के देते रहे तो ये ग्रेट अचीवमेंट होगा। ये शेखर ने बात बिल्कुल सही कही कि हम यदि गवर्नमेंट को ये देते रहे, जैसा हमने मरकरी में किया था। मरकरी में प्रजापति जी ने एक स्टूडेंट को देके और वो पूरा कंपाइल 5-7 वेबिनार कराई और अपन ने भेजी। ऐसा ही गोविंद जी यहाँ बैठे हैं, द्विवेदी जी यहाँ बैठे हैं, जिनके भी थोड़ा हल्का हो, हम उनको गाइड कर देंगे और वो अपने एक रिसर्च डॉक्यूमेंट तैयार होंगे।
बिल्कुल
जी, जी बिल्कुल।
थैंक यू सर, जुड़ते रहिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
बढ़िया।
कल मॉरिशस की मीटिंग है, कल मॉरिशस चलेंगे ईश शर्मा जी के साथ। थैंक यू, गुड नाइट सर।
शुभ रात्रि।
शुभ रात्रि।
हरिओम हरिओम
हरिओम। शुभ रात्रि। हाँ, नमस्कार सर। नमस्कार
जी, नमस्कार जी, नमस्कार।